noon in Laramie. Western legends are made here. Two seasoned rivals facing each other down for high stakes. For the Wyoming Cowboys, the harsh Laramie landscape is the perfect place to stage an ambush. The year has not been prosperous for the gritty Cowboys so far, but fortunes could be reversed with a clean shot at the notorious gang riding into town at high noon. The BYU Cougars blaze into Laramie on a stallion named Momentum. Their gun-slinging leader has stepped out of the shadows to make a name for himself. He's backed up by a ground-pounding posse and brick-wall defense that backs down to no one. But history shows the Cougar gang is not invincible, especially in the Wyoming Badlands. The BYU Cougars and the Wyoming Cowboys. It's high noon in Laramie, and the stage is set for a showdown next on the Blue and White Sports Network. BYU Cougars and the Cowboys from the University of Wyoming. Jay Monson, Irv Brown at War Memorial Stadium in Laramie, Wyoming. And Irv, they let everybody know it's 7,200 feet here.
Remember how that Brandenburg used to always put that sign up when you're playing basketball here? These guys aren't dumb.
Yeah, think about it. You can't breathe.
Bring your oxygen.
Right, you can't breathe there. We just had the flip of the coin on the field. The Wyoming Cowboys won the toss, and they elected to receive. The weather conditions, 58 degrees here. It's a beautiful day. Hardly any wind to speak of. Little, gusts 10 miles an hour or so, and sunny skies.
I saw some sunscreen out there. Let's take a look at the series record here, and it's been pretty close. Boy, what a wild one last year in Provo. That's a lot of points on the board.
Cougars did that pretty much running the football. When you compare the statistics, well, you see them on screen. Passing yardage, BYU the edge. Rushing yardage, the edge. Total yardage, the edge, but not a big difference.
Well, the most disturbing one for both coaches, Joe Tiller and Lavelle Edwards, is turnovers. 19 and 17. That's way too many.
A lot of penalties, too. And the standings. There's two teams still undefeated, and on top, Utah and San Diego State. The interesting thing, those two teams do not play each other this year. And if they both went undefeated, Utah would go to the Holiday Bowl because the San Diego team's been there since Utah has been.
Exactly. Look at the rushing leaders here. And I'll tell you what, people in the press box today were talking about the guy on top, Marshall Falk. Is he as good as the people we have had in a game, like Billy Sims, like Barry Sanders? Well, only time will tell. But I'll tell you what, he's as good as I've seen in this league. Let's take a look at the receivers, Jay.
Eric Grage leads the nation in yards per game. Ryan Yarborough is right up close behind their two very, very good wins. In fact, you just look down the list there. All of those young men are good football players and good wideouts.
There's Joe Tiller. Joe was a very good football player in the Big Sky. In fact, he played in the East-West Shrine game. And Joe has had a ton of injuries up here. They had so many surgeries last year. They kept the medical profession in business. They got some guys out today. I'm really disappointed we're not going to see this Whitehead. That's a good football player. He's got a neck injury, and we're just not going to see him.
Lauder will kick off for Brigham Young University, and he's done very well for BYU last week, except for the first kick, which he kicked out of bounds. He kept the Fresno State team back in the end zone.
Did a great job. You know, Jay, it's interesting. Most of the teams that we have seen who have won the toss have deferred to the second half. You ask, why would Joe Tiller take the football? He needs to have something very, very positive. And I know Joe's thinking that he wants to come out. He wants to establish something. They're going to have to hold the ball. It's a little windier down there than it would appear up here.
We have Eric Edmond and Prentice Roan are the two deep men, a sophomore and a junior, who are their kick returners. And the Lauder will be kicking with the wind. And the stadium's not going to hold that one, Irv. That only went out of the end zone past the crossbars there, but it went over the fence. Joe Hughes will be coming in as quarterback. Young man from Ridley, California, will be running things for the Wyoming Cowboys. He and Gustin had a spirited battle, I understand, in spring ball, and Hughes won, and then later in fall, and Hughes won the start.
You know, he's pretty good. I like the way he steps up in the pocket and throws the ball. He'll do some different things every once in a while, and you get down on him, but he's tough. And people generally who are tough will bounce back.
First offensive play of the football game from Laramie. Hughes at quarterback. Slot man to the left side. And he's back to throw on first down. Sets up, does throw, and completes it. It'll be to the 30 to the 34-yard line. As that was completed to Matt Swenson as tight end. They have two of the best tight ends in the conference. Hall and Clark made the hit. Along the line, there are the starters for the Cowboys. The back's Terrence Green. Yarborough's the one to watch as far as the wide receivers, but Swenson's a very good tight end, and Driver, their outstanding running back. Well, a first down play on the very first offensive series. It's a 14-yard pass play, and we have a 1st and 10 for the Cowboys in their own 34. And now we'll have a running play off to the right side. There'll be nothing doing on this one. Slanting to the left side on a direct handoff and very little gain. Kevin Nickel making the hit for BYU. Defensively, Brock, Gomes, and Pitts, they're all good pass rushers, each with sacks. Nickel, Hall, Henson, and Herget. Herget missed a game because of an injury, came back and played very well last week. And back deep is Dewey Gray, one of the better defensive backs in the conference.
For the viewer, Jay, I think the key is to watch the Wyoming tackles. I'm not sure they can handle BYU's rushers. Wyoming's guards have played better than their tackles. Watch Brock, Hunter, Pitts. They could be crucial today.
Second down, they'll run it from one set back position, and a gain of about 4, maybe 5 yards as Dwight Driver carries the ball and Nathan Hall makes the hit.
Driver missed spring ball. He had knee surgery. He was second team all WAC. Let's pick it up. Once again, they just area block it and let him pick a hole. He starts to the left, nothing doing. He cuts pretty good, doesn't he? This isn't turf. This is grass. And was able to turn a little bit of something into something that didn't look like it was going to happen. There's a look at Dwight Driver's totals.
3rd and 5, no setback this time. 2 men wide to the right, 1 to the left. Hughes at quarterback, looking for 4.5 yards for a first down. Drops straight back, throws and completes it, and they've got the first down. Just barely. This time it's to Mike Jones. Now Matt Swenson and Mike Jones alternate at tight end. They're both very good. Herget there for BYU on the tackle.
Man-to-man coverage, and Jones, who's got the better hands of the two, runs across. Look, he only gets about 5 yards depth. Hughes with a 3-step drop back is able to complete the pass, and once again, it's very difficult for a tight end to be covered by a backer. That's just well done. You got all you could get out of Anaya, but once again, a little more speed.
Brad Clark also in on the stop. Cowboys, they'll run it right up the middle. This is Driver. Driver has just a couple. BYU team's a tough team to run on this year. Todd Herget led the hit.
Herget has done a great job all year long. He's missed some time. He's had some injury problems. And quite frankly, they've got a nice effort when they've had to fill in for him. Nichols stands his man up, and then Herget comes in. I'll tell you what, number 99 is just a load. Did you see Greg Pitts, all 275 pounds, just kind of shrugged his shoulder like he was knocking a gnat off the wall.
2nd and 6 after a 4-yard gain. The Cowboys on their own 49. 2 men to the right, 1 split out wide to the left, and 1 setback. That's Driver, motion man coming to the left. Hughes on a 2nd down call is back to pass. They're on top of him. Gets it away, and it's dropped. Dropped. Right in the middle of the field that time by Eric Edmond, the A-back.
Set up the screen, and Edmond had a lot of running room because Wyoming had 3 people out in front of him. Edmond had a great spring, and it really hasn't happened for the guy this fall. A lot of people really thought he was going to be something, Jay. He's caught 27 footballs, but people really were expecting big things. He's so fast.
Here's a 3rd and 6 for the Wyoming Cowboys, still on their own 49. No score, first offensive series of the game today in Laramie. Very nice day for a football game. Back to throw, the rush is on, does throw into the middle of the field, may have been intercepted. Let's see which way they rule it. 2 players have it now. Which way will they rule it? They will. They'll say it's an interception for BYU, and that's the little freshman, Hassan McCullough, who wrestled away from the would-be receiver.
Tell you what, that was great man coverage. Locked on. Dick Feld is the secondary coach. Wyoming does a pretty good job protecting him. And watch this little freshman come in. Well, they're competing pretty good. That's a jump ball in basketball, huh?
I think you're right. Well, they ruled it for BYU. That's the first interception of the year for him. And the Cougars will take over offensively, 1st and 10 on the BYU 36-yard line. Here's the first BYU offensive series. Hall and Willis, the 2 setbacks. Ryan Hancock is the quarterback. Starting his 3rd consecutive game now after injuries, knocked out 2 BYU quarterbacks earlier in the year. Fakes a drive, going to throw on 1st down. Does throw, incomplete. At the 44-yard line, intended for Jamal Willis, but he missed it. Led him maybe just a little bit too much.
They're all talking about Ryan Hancock today. Want to know how good he is. Can he play baseball? Yes, he can play baseball. And he's a pretty good football player, too.
Leads the WAC in passing efficiency.
You know, it's interesting. We talk baseball. Art Housentown, one of my favorite people, played at the University of Wyoming. Very loyal. In fact, he's got a daughter up here. They're having a little inter-squad tomorrow. Art's in town to help him out, along with Jeff Husen from the Rangers.
2nd and 10 Cougars. Drage comes in motion to the right. Hancock, there's a pitch to the right side. This is Kalen Hall. Hall is turned inside, and he may have lost a yard. They tried to get wide to the right, but Kenny Johnson said nothing doing and stopped him. Along the line up front, you got to watch for these guys to open the holes. They did a great job. Broomfield has been the offensive lineman of the week for 3 consecutive weeks for BYU. And Herb, last week he graded out 100% in pass blocking.
Well, he's so big, and he just fires out. He keeps the base. As you look at Lavelle Edwards, Lavelle went to Utah State. He and Joe Tiller both have something in common. They do know how to throw the football.
3rd down and 10 for BYU, just a little more than 10. 2 setbacks, split backs for the Cougars. First quarter, here's Hancock looking for 10 yards for a first down. Here's his pass. It's complete. Up to the 40, got away. He's to the 45. That's Byron Rex, the tight end. And he's a tough young man to bring down. He's all the way to the 34-yard line before Prentice Roan finally wrestles him down, and Hancock threw a line drive.
Here's another guy, in my opinion, has a chance to play for money one day. Byron Rex is one of the better tight ends, not only in this league, but in the area. He beats a couple of tacklers. You better wrap this guy up. He's a big kid. He weighs 230 pounds. He was on a mission down at the Dominican Republic. I thought I just thought that the guy came on last week after that 1-game suspension. That was a great catch right here and run.
That's his 23rd reception of the year. This is Jamal Willis. Jamal is upended as he tries to vault over a would-be tackler at the line of scrimmage, and he's dropped by Jared Teal and Ty Hopkins.
Here's the
Along
starters.
the defensive line. Williams is a real pass rusher.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they got 2 Williams. They both are.
Right there. There's the backers. I like Talich. He'll run to the football pretty good.
Folsom's got some injury problems.
Yeah. And then their secondary. The best one is Paul Wallace. He's got big-time ability.
2nd and 10 Cougars at the Cowboy 33-yard line. We're in the first quarter of the football game. There's no score. Hancock is back to throw this time. Does throw. Incomplete. Overthrew Drage at the 30-yard line. Junior Marcellus was there covering, had the best shot at that pass.
Also got some help from Paul Wallace, the guy we were talking about. He's from Omaha. They get a lot of kids from Omaha, get a lot of guys from the state of Montana. They've recruited effectively in both areas, and it's kind of unusual. You go into Nebraska, you figure that they're all going to go to the university. Not true. A lot of them show up here in Laramie.
Cougars have 3rd and 10. They split 2 men wide to the right. Drage is in the slot on that side. And Hancock drops back into the shotgun. He has the ball, looking to throw, looking for first down yardage. Into the middle of the field, and it's knocked down. Tended for Drage, but it was bumped away. Drage says he was held. That's Tom Kramer who made the defensive play, so BYU is stopped, and the Cougars will bring out their field goal unit.
Kramer did a great job. He's from Loveland, Colorado. 6'3", 236 pounds senior. We got Empey limping. He's going to have to stay in here. They'll try the field goal. Empey thought that somebody was coming in for him. He looks like he's limping on a left ankle. We'll follow that.
The kick's from the 41, so this is a 51-yard attempt. Lauder is 7 out of 11 this year.
Got the wind behind him, Jay.
He has. His longest is 42 yards. Plenty long. Let's see if it's good. Nope. He had the distance, but he missed it. Off to the right, and so BYU fails to score. The Cowboys will take over. With 10 minutes to go in the first quarter, there's no score in the football game. Here's a replay of that field goal attempt by Lauder.
Gets nailed just a little bit. I'll tell you what. No harm, no foul. That's the way I used to referee basketball. You never liked it, Jay. But look at Lavelle Edwards.
Well, it depended on which team he called it on.
David Lauder kicked that football about 65 yards with a win. Here we go.
That's Lavelle Edwards a moment ago enjoying the sunshine. 1st and 10 Cowboys from their own 33. There's no score. We're in the first quarter. And Hughes will throw on first down. Is hit as he throws it, and it's juggled and drops incomplete.
Kevin Nickel laid a lick on Hughes. They put 4 down that time, and Nickel beat the tackle like a drum that time. Watch Kevin Nickel, 55, coming in from the left side of the screen here, and I mean, he lays a lick. That'll keep you honest.
Has the ball. Vic Tarleton lays it onto him, and the ball falls incomplete. We've got the offensive player of the week from the WAC in this game, driver of Wyoming, and the defensive player last week was Shad Hansen, BYU's fine linebacker. 3 men wide to the left, 2nd and 10 for the Cowboys. No setback. Back to throw is Hughes. And he's chased out of the pocket. He's caught from behind and will be pulled down after a gain of about 2. He had a little more room, but somebody grabbed him by the arm and slowed him up.
5 out in the pattern that time. When Joe Tiller was the offensive coordinator for Paul Roach, they had a lot of success with this. They go trips left, put a man in motion, but it's very difficult. You got to get rid of it quickly. BYU will go with their dime package this time, Jay, as they put in a couple
Tiller. Fine coach. Nathan Hall kind of messed things up in the backfield when he caught up with him. It's 3rd down and 8 for the Wyoming Cowboys from their own 35. There's no score first quarter. Here's Hughes back to throw. Not as much of a rush this time. Does get the pass away. Completes it on the sidelines over to the right. It's enough for the first down.
Guy we featured at the top.
Clark and McCullough covering for BYU, and it was Yarbrough caught it.
All right, watch Ryan, who's 6'2", 190-pound junior. Very dangerous. He holds all of Wyoming's records. Hughes gives him something he can handle. But what was interesting is the pattern that he ran. BYU 5 under, 2 deep, and yet Yarbrough beat the coverage, moved the chains.
First down Cowboys on their own 48-yard line. 3 men wide to the left this time. And he'll give it. Oh, he's still got it after faking. Pumps, and he's going to throw it deep. Got a man way back there. Offensive player, defensive player, both bump. And that's it is Yarbrough, covered by Derwin Gray. And the ball goes on by them, incomplete.
Well, I thought it was a good no call by George Lloyd. There's no harm, no foul. Look at the end of this thing here. They just lock up, and it'd be very easy to throw a flag here. And yet, how are you going to determine? You know, that back judge was a terrific third baseman at the University of Oklahoma. I just thought I'd throw that in.
He's a baseball player. You know, Gray really had a better shot at that pass than Yarbrough. This game goes too long, Herb will slip out to watch the World Series. 2nd and 10. Driver goes in motion to the right side. 3 men wide to the left. Hughes back to throw. Pressure on him. Throws under pressure. Completes it in the middle of the field to the BYU 40. And that's Yarbrough who caught it again.
Out of trips left. You talk about doing a good job. Joe Hughes, that is, steps up. Look at the pressure coming in from the right side of your screen. And he just steps up and completes it. This is what I like about this guy. He's got some toughness, and I like that in all people, but he will step up in a pocket.
Well, Yarbrough caught it. Coach Tiller looking for the next play, I guess, to call there. It's a first down for the Wyoming Cowboys. They're on the BYU 40-yard line now. 3 men wide to the left again. No score first quarter.
Changing at the line of scrimmage.
The rush is on, and they'll sack him this time. He turned around. There was just nothing he could do. Led by Shad Hansen, WAC Defensive Player of the Week last week.
And it looks to me like Ken Schmidt will come after you quite a bit now because you're just trying to overpower them with more rushers than they got blockers. When you put 5 out in the pattern, you're going to be in trouble unless you get rid of the football. Look, Miss Hansen went to the Air Force Academy Prep School for 1 year, recruited by Oregon. He's just a pretty good football player.
6-yard loss on that one. It's 2nd and 16 for the Cowboys. Now on the BYU 46-yard line. 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Hughes fakes the draw. He's still got the ball. Will they get him? They do. They do. Back at the 41-yard line of the Cowboys. Nice fake. Up the middle, he put the ball on his hip. But staying right with him was big Randy Brock and pulled him down.
Well, he's 6'6", 265, a freshman All-American. Look at the strength of Brock. Now, this is, you know, all football is up front anyways, martial arts. Who is stronger? Who does more work in the weight room? And you can tell by that Randy Brock, who reminds a lot of people of Jason Buck. I've said this before, but I really believe that. It's extremely strong. So it's 3rd, and they got to go all the way to Rawlings if they're going to get a first down, Jay.
They got about 27 yards to go, don't they? 10, 20. I'd be right. 3rd down and 27. He fakes once, comes back and throws it to the right side, and there'll be very little gain on this, up to midfield. Just a quick one to the right side. It was complete. It's like a tackle that caught the ball that time.
Well, actually,
it was Kirk Van Roekel. Tackle eligible.
I thought it was 34 who caught the
34.
Okay. Yeah, it was
Ryan Christopherson then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So they'll have to punt the football. And Joe Tiller hadn't been very pleased with the kicking game. Normally, Wyoming has beat you with defense in the kicking game, and hadn't been up to Cowpoke standards.
Brian Gregert is the kicker. Gregert will kick from his own 35-yard line. Cougars have 2 men back deep. Here's the punt, very high. Bearcats the signal, and Johnston takes it near the 13-yard line for Brigham Young. So the Cougars of BYU will take over. No score midway through the first quarter. This is the Blue and White Sports Network. BYU takes over 1st and 10 on their own 14. The Cougars leading the WAC in total offense and passing offense. And back deep in their own territory now. Here's a pitch to the outside to Jamal Willis. And Jamal is going to be dropped for a loss as the Cowboys were waiting for him. Paul Wallace and Tom Kramer. And the Cougars trying to get the running game going, and so far nothing doing.
Well, Kramer, who's filling in for Folsom, has done a terrific job. Now watch this Wallace come up and get something going here. This is a pretty good football player. A lot of people think he's got a chance. He's 205, comes up, stands him up, and really takes care of contain. It was all whack in 1990. He's played every position in the secondary.
Cougars lose 6. It's 2nd and 16 from their own 7-yard line now. Split backs. Hancock fakes a handoff. He bootlegs, rolls to the right, looks to throw. Now he's going to have to run it himself. He's down at the 11-yard line. Not much of a gain. Tom Kramer covering on it. BYU will face 3rd and long yardage.
Tay did a great job that time. Really did his thing. One of the captains, Nell Drake, the 255-pound senior, he doesn't make the tackle, but this 2-year starter, who is an All-American in high school, just really does his thing. You look at Lavelle Edwards right now, they're 3rd down. They've converted 50% of the time today, as has Wyoming. This is going to be a tough conversion.
Lavelle is 15-5 in his career against Wyoming. So here's 3rd for BYU, about 14. Hancock dancing around. Here's his pass. Incomplete to a man wide open at the 35-yard line, and he overthrew him. That was Nadi Valdez, and he was open, but Hancock missed him. Marcellus was covering, but he got away from him.
Valdez found the open area in the zone, as Wyoming didn't get a deep enough drop on that side, but it doesn't make any difference as they are able to hold. Look at this. We got the big tackle punting.
Brad Hunter in there. He's kicked only 2 times this year.
Jay, he could kick it out of the stadium with the wind. You just don't know what he's going to do because he hadn't punted that much, but he's got a tremendous leg. I was watching him warm up with the wind.
He's kicking about 4 yards into the end zone. The snap is there, and he got it away, and he really booms it. In fact, he'll kick it over the would-be receiver's head. He fumbles it, picks it up. He's back at the 20, up to the 25, trying to get wide to the outside. And nice run. He's bumped out of bounds up around the 40-yard line.
There were 2 major league licks. I don't know how he got to the corner. Great speed.
That was Frank Christensen for BYU, who laid one of the hits. There's no score. 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Brad Hunter had a 59-yard punt. There you see it.
Well, this is Prentice Roan. He's from Norman, Oklahoma. I don't know how he's able to get east and west. Watch this lick coming up right here. I don't know who lays it, but I'll tell you what. Boom. Hello. And then watch Christensen lay a lick on Roan. You know, coaches like noise like that. You know that? That's why we don't have the soft helmets anymore, Tyler.
I got it that time. Hughes is 5 of 7 passing. Hancock 1 of 5. 1st and 10 Cowboys at their own 43. We're in a scoreless tie. Approaching the end of the first quarter. Hughes sends a man in motion to the right side. He's back to throw. Throws out on that side, and a nice diving catch at the 48-yard line. Caught that time by Eric Edmond. Gain of around 8. Vic Charlton covering for BYU.
Sophomore from Minnesota. Tight formation. Man in motion. 1, 2, 3-step drop. Hughes turns. Puts it right there where there can be no interception. That's impressive. They're right on schedule as they pick up about 7.
2nd down coming. They mark it down. It's about 4 yards for a first down. Cowboys 1 setback, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Hughes gives to Driver. They open a good hole off the right side. Driver spins his way to the BYU 43-yard line and a first down. So the Cowboys moving the ball. Brad Clark tackled it.
They did a terrific job trapping here for Driver, who can run. Watch the right guard pull. 55 does his thing. Lets Driver get into the secondary very, very quickly. This is Isaac Hawkins, 290-pound freshman from Denver. Their guards are just pretty good, Jay, and it's just as simple as that. As you look at Joe Tiller, boy, he got something that time out of Hawkins, who played at Montbello for Ben Gregory, now at the University of Colorado as their running backs coach.
Tiller 7-9-1 in his coaching. There's a pass thrown out of bounds on the right side. Trying to get it over to Mike Jones, who was pretty well covered by BYU, and there was also pressure up front.
Well, you know what happened? Pitts is 6'5". He puts his hands up, and he's got the longest arms in the world. Hughes couldn't see over him. That ain't fair, is it?
I think some of the fans couldn't.
Here's a look at Lavelle Edwards. I've said this before. The man made a commitment to throw when he took the job. Now, I've seen a lot of guys do that, and then as soon as the fans start coming in, they quit throwing. And he didn't. He kept throwing.
Won 186. He's got 186 coaching wins at BYU. 2nd and 10 for the Cowboys. Hughes gives on the draw this time, but Lenny Gomes meets the driver head on. May have dropped him for a yard loss.
This is a very good nose guard. Lenny Gomes, take a look at the 265-pound junior. He was terrific against UTEP, and they just can't handle him. He comes in, lays a lick, and watch him square up. And say, I like the little running back when he hadn't got any place to go.
1 yard loss. Lenny Gomes. He's only a junior.
He can play a little bit. He's recruited by Utah, Oregon, Cal.
Got married during the summer. Wife Carol. 3rd down and 11 for the Wyoming Cowboys on the BYU 44-yard line. No score towards the end of the first quarter. Hughes at quarterback, changing the play. He's back to throw. Floats it down the sidelines. Got a man there. It's caught. Down to the 10, down to the 5, down to the 3-yard line. And that is Yarborough. Yarborough just sprinting down the sidelines. Gives the Cowboys the first opportunity to score. Patrick Mitchell covering.
Patrick Mitchell was in bump coverage, coming up pressing. Watch the left side, 5 under, 2 across. This is a terrific fade pattern. Yarborough just runs by Mitchell, and that's not easy to do. Mitchell catches up with him, but what field position, thanks to this man, Ryan Yarborough.
40-yard gain, so the Cowboys threatening to score here in the first quarter. They have a 1st and goal on the BYU 3-yard line. This time 2 setbacks. See if they can try to power it in there. Hughes at quarterback. Gives to Driver. Driver is in the end zone for the touchdown off the right side. So Driver gets the first score of the game. For Wyoming, that is his 7th touchdown of the season. And Wyoming leads Brigham Young 6-0 with 2:40 to go in the first quarter.
Well-executed play. Blocked down. Hawkins pulls and traps. They lead Christopherson through the hole. Watch Hawkins pull. Watch Christopherson lead on the backer. The Driver goes through and barely touched. And the Cowboys, very impressive in the early going with their offense.
Chris Mindlin does the place kicking for them. And the extra point attempt is good. Mindlin on the season is now 19 out of 19. And Wyoming gets first blood in the game. They lead Brigham Young by a score of 7-0. The big play, that throw down the sideline.
Let's talk about that fade for a moment if we can, Jay. 5 under. That means you've got 6 DBs in there. You got to come up and press. And Yarborough just does a great job getting off the line. He beats Mitchell to the outside, and the pass was absolutely perfect. There could be no safety help the way Joe Hughes laid it out. Well done.
Wyoming has been a good fourth quarter team, especially in recent weeks. They scored 24 points last week to win the football game after trailing. Of course, they also got burned in the fourth quarter here on a 60-yard field goal to lose.
That one really hurt. Let's take a look one more time. All right, here's the playoff tackle. Look at 34 lead in there and stick his nose into it. A guy who weighs about 30 pounds more than him. Christopherson does a nice job. The key block, though, was a guy who was very crucial during that entire drive. Hawkins, there's the story. 57 yards in 6 plays. Driver with the 3-yard run. Of course, the fade pattern to Yarborough was the play.
Chris Midland kicking off. He's only a freshman. Cougars with 2 men deep. You have Christensen back there and Johnston. So BYU down 7-0, now receiving the football. Here's the kick into the wind. It'll be taken by Christensen at the 1-yard line. 5-10. He's got to the 15. He's got to the 20, to the 25, and jumps forward to about the 29-yard line. Pretty good return.
Christensen does a lot of different things for this ball club. Pretty handy guy to have around. He's upset. All returners are upset when they don't break it. It's like golfers who miss 60-footers. Grown.
Gee, I should have made that. 2.5 to go in the first quarter. Wyoming 7, Brigham Young nothing. Both of these teams are 3-0 in the season. BYU is 2-2 in the conference. Wyoming is 1-1. 28-yard punt or kickoff return. BYU with Rex going in motion to the left side. Hancock drops back to throw. Looks, does throw, and it's incomplete. Through the hands of Rex.
Actually tried to go to Willis, Jay, and I'll tell you what, that was not a well-thrown ball by this guy, and he's upset with himself. There was no touch at all. You're not going to handle a football when you run 5 yards across the field and somebody guns it. And Ryan has showed us some touch. He's off a little slow today. Only 1 of 6. That's a new set. Rex went in motion and then busted out into the flat.
2nd and 10 Cougars from their own 29. They shift in the eye to split backs. Hall and Willis. Hancock gives to Hall. Hall, a big hole up the middle. He's to the 35-yard line. It was closed quickly in the secondary by Paul Wallace, so it looked like Hall's going to get a lot more.
Been waiting for him to run that play to slow down the Wyoming rush. Here it is. This was a great play against Fresno. They trap it. Notice you don't even have to trap here because Wyoming takes themselves really out of the play. Coming on very hard was Brent Schaefer, the defensive end.
3rd and 5 for BYU. Cougars trailing 7-0. Hancock back to pass on 3rd down. Has the time, throws, completes it. Completes it for a 1st down to the 44-yard line, and this is Christensen.
Once again, that handy guy that you just like to have around. He runs a simple little circle pattern, and Hancock on a money. All right, here's Ryan, drops back, pay the leader all year long, helps out on one of the down linemen. Christensen finds the open area of the zone defense.
Christensen, a junior, walked on in 1990, or walked on, I think, in 89, and redshirted. First down for BYU at the 48-yard line. Hancock back to throw again. Good protection. Throws, completes it this time to Rex, who's tied end to the Cowboy 45-yard line.
This is one of the things I like about this guy, Jay. Now, he threw a very poor pass 2 plays ago. The last 2 have shown nothing but touch. Rex, his receiver. Let's pick it up. Look at the touch. This is a guy who's got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and he threw one a moment ago to Willis. Now there's the touch. That's what you like about an athlete who can adjust. You got to give your receivers a chance. Boy, he did then.
College tackling. 2nd down, 3.5 to go for a 1st down for BYU. They're in Cowboy territory, and they'll run the draw this time to Kalen Hall. Hall has 1 yard as it's closed quickly in the middle by Tom Williams, the junior, and Brent Schaefer, a sophomore.
Well, I'll tell you, that was well done. I like what Williams did. He's 290 pounds. He was suspended in 91. He had that great season in 90. He's been an all-whack academic guy. Played at Pueblo Centennial. Happened to coach his coach, Tom Brockman. He's got a terrific program down there.
3rd down for BYU. About 3.5 yards to go for a 1st down. Valdez comes in motion. Here's Hancock back to pass. Has some time. Throws. Caught at the 40-yard line, and that will be enough for the 1st down, and a nice diving catch by Christensen.
Well, they're going to be holding. Mike Empey holds, and he gets nailed this time, and there wasn't any question about it. The referee throws the flag. Our crew today, Mike Pereira, is the referee, and he had the correct call there. Dean Reimer, Stu Ross, Bernie Del Hilario, John Cobb, Jack Hill, and George Lloyd. This is going to cost BYU.
They would have had a 1st down at the 40-yard line of the Cowboys. Instead, they'll face 3rd down and long yardage.
10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat 3rd down.
Should be marked down all the way back to the BYU 37-yard line. The officials listed.
When I started refereeing, an old coach says, I see you've taken on the tools of the bandit.
The bandit?
All right, watch the left side, and there's the hold. And anyway, that's a pretty good takedown. That's a WWF, Jay, that we were talking about. That's Sergeant Slaughter and those guys.
3rd and 22 for the BYU Cougars, who trailed the Wyoming team by a score of 7-0 here in the 1st quarter. Here's Hancock back to throw. Needs 22 yards. Wait a minute. The quarter ended before they got the play underway. So we will resume play with BYU still in a 3rd and 22 situation. After 1 quarter of play from Laramie, it's 7 Cowboys, nothing Cougars. This is the Blue and White Sports Network. Jay Monson, Herb Brown as we open the 2nd period. BYU, by the way, is 4th in the WAC in converting on 3rd down conversions, 44.8% of the time. But they need long yardage this time, and Hancock will operate from the shotgun. Here's the snap. Cowboys may know. I think he got back. Here is Hancock to throw. He's going to throw it deep, and it's out of bounds. Did a flag go down?
Had a flag on this side, Jay, so Hancock intelligently gets rid of it. Cougars will pick up 5 yards and replay the down.
Looked like a Cowboy was offsides. In the 1st quarter, Wyoming had 1 of 5. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong one. They had dropped the wrong note here.
I do that all the time. Here it is. Here's our numbers right here. Wyoming with 95 yards. And BYU with 53. Hughes has been terrific in the early going.
So that was a 5-yard walk-off. So BYU will have 3rd down and 17 for a first down at their own 43. Hancock again dropping back into the shotgun. Hamuli is in as the running back with him there. Snap back. Hancock looking to throw. Three-man rush. Hancock fires it way downfield, and it's incomplete. Dredge had his hand on it. It was deflected. Dredge got a hand onto it. On it, couldn't hold it, and it's an incomplete pass, but almost a big gainer for BYU.
Wade Constance out of the dime package, number 8, gets a hand on it. Here it is. Watch Constance come into the picture right about there, and he got a hand on it. And Dredge unable to hang on to the football as the angle was changed. So that'll bring on the big guy to punt again, Brad Hunter. His first one was a beauty.
He'll kick from his own 27-yard line.
Got to be the biggest punter in the nation. What if he had to run?
Here's the kick. Oh, boy, he booms it sky high.
Hey, the nose is coming straight down, Jay. Could be interesting.
It's taken at the, the 17-yard line. Another nice kick.
Those are
Brad
tough
Hunter.
when the nose comes straight down, boy. This guy, I get a kick out of this guy. We had a ball game, Jay, I think it was Utah State, where he kicked one, and it was worth the price of admission. And then the referee received the lateral. that was funny.
Stay with us at halftime as Carlton Wing updates you on scores around the country on the USA Today's CNN Top 25 scoreboard. Plus, Carlton will have a special visit with BYU's athletic director, Glenn Tuckett. All coming up at the half on the Blue and White Network Halftime Report. Cougar cheerleaders here in Laramie. It's really a nice day. There were no clouds in the sky at all when we got here today. There's some clouds around, but there's no threat of storm. As the Cowboys operate on first down, and they'll go on a running play, and they'll get nothing. That's Driver sweeping to the left side, but Todd Herget was there to pull him down.
Well, the junior who was recruited by the University of Calgary just comes in and makes a very short tackle. We've only had 10 yards total rushing both sides. It's been slow going because of the two defenses.
You know, Irv, Todd he's from Canada, played hockey up there, and there's some stats on her. He wanted to play, and his mom didn't want him to. He's afraid he'd get hurt, so she made him be a figure skater. He said he quit that quickly, which eventually led to him getting into football. That way he won't get hurt, see. 2nd and 9. For the Cowboys. Hughes to throw, does throw. Got a man open at the 30-yard line to the 35-yard line. And he'll be down at the 40-yard line. Fumbles the football. And BYU recovers. It was fumbled by Eric Edmond fighting for extra yardage. He dropped the ball, and the Cougars dropped on it. So a big break for BYU. I think Brad Clark recovered the fumble.
And the ball was about to roll out of bounds. We got a pretty good camera angle on this. Edmond wide open here. As they run a crossing pattern, catch him in man. That's what you want to run against man-to-man. And there's the tackle. Look at that. I'll tell you something. Is that special?
It's Clark knocked it free, and Mitchell recovered it.
That is really well done. Look at Clark one more time. He's played very effectively all year long.
So he reached in and knocked the football free. And there's Mitchell right on the spot. So the BYU team first down. Hancock to throw, does throw. Got a man open in the middle field. That's Drage. He's down to the 20-yard line. He's down to the 15-yard line. So Eric Drage catches one. He has now caught a pass in 19 consecutive games.
He got so much depth on his crossing pattern. That reminds me when McMahon was playing at BYU. He dropped back 9 yards. He let you get a little deeper. Look at this. Look how deep he is. That's almost impossible to cover when you get in between the backers and the secondary. And Eric Drage, who knows what to do with the football. You see that block by Rex? That didn't hurt.
High formation this time for the BYU team. First down on the 16. Jamal Willis. Jamal, the big guy, over the line of scrimmage, forward to close to the 12-yard line. So BYU trying to tie it up now after a big throw to Drage sets it up.
Sprint draw that time. The lead blocker was Hall. It's tough running. He picks up about 3.
Marcellus and Teal tackling him. Both these teams started slowly this year, but have been playing well as of late. They're playing well this game. 2nd down for BYU, 6 for a first down, and about 12.5 for a touchdown. Nowatzki in motion to the right for BYU. Hancock gives on the draw to Kalen Hall, bounces off one would-be tackler, breaks off to the left side, is down to the 7-yard line. I thought they had him for a loss. Tom Kramer and Junior Marcellus tackle him.
The defense was by Teal, who did a terrific job. Here's a guy who had knee surgery in 91. He's from Sterling. Watch 98. Teal really messes up the timing right there. And then able to get some help from his friends. So it's 3rd and short.
Cougars have 3rd down and about 1.5 yards to go for a first down. They're on the Cowboys 7-yard line, trailing 7-0 out of the I formation this time. Hancock, a long count. The late handoff to Jamal Willis, and I believe Jamal has the first down inside the 5. They opened a fair hole on the right for the yardage for the first down. John Burrow, who's starting today at left end in place of Kurt Whitehead, made the tackle.
Ran behind Evan Pilgrim and Scott Broomfield, who has just had, look at Broomfield, 71. I mean, that's a pancake. You see a brown shirt on the ground, you see 71 on top of him. Jay, he is graded out and just terrific all year long. If we look at his coach, Lavelle Edwards, trying to tie this thing up. 12:15 left in the period. Wyoming by 7.
First and goal, Brigham Young on the Wyoming 5-yard line. Cowboys have been tough against the run. And the indication we had was they were not playing as well defensively this year. Hancock bootlegging, rolling to the right, looking into the end zone. Throws into the end zone and it's knocked free, incomplete. Tried to get it to Rex, the tight end, but a good defensive play by Kenny Johnson. He batted a line drive back out of there.
Jay, you'll never see better man coverage in a goal line situation. They fake counter Trey. There they go on the boot. Now this should open up. This should be a touchdown, you would think. And Wyoming in man coverage almost comes up with a pick. That is just outstanding. You can't play it or draw it up any better on the board.
Second and goal, Brigham Young on the Cowboy 5. I formation. Haymouli and Willis are the backs. Haymouli, a good blocker. They will run it to Jamal Willis. Jamal is dropped for a loss to the 7. Reaching through is Ty Williams, who has 5 sacks this year, and he gets a big tackle.
Tyrone, another guy out of Omaha. Watch 87 as he beats the backside and makes the play. That's just a terrific effort. It's tough down there. This guy played a little basketball in high school. He showed you some agility there.
One of the Cougar wideouts, Dolman, is not playing right now. He's sick, got the flu, and he's in the locker room right now. We'll check on that later. Third down and goal from the 7 as Drage goes in motion to the right. Hancock rolling to the right, looking to throw. Dancing, throws, touchdown, I believe. It is, it's a touchdown. Eric Drage, he had 3 Cowboys around him, but Hancock hit him.
Tell you what they did that time. They used motion left to right with Drage, and Wyoming bumped their coverage over and actually did a pretty good job, and Drage works free. Watch Drage come in motion. Roll to the right. Watch Drage work free. And the patience of Hancock waiting for him to free up. And finally he does free himself up. I'll tell you what, that's a great throw, Jay. It's either going to be caught or it's going to be incomplete. No pick.
BYU has now scored in 218 consecutive games, and it's a total of 42 consecutive games where they have a touchdown pass, which is an NCAA record. And Lauder ties the score, kicking the extra point, so it's a 7-7 tie. This is the Blue and White Sports Network. Well, BYU takes advantage of a turnover, recovering a fumble near midfield, and they get in for the score. Hancock is now 5 of 12, 93 yards and a touchdown. That drive, a 43-yard drive. 2:47 to get into the end zone and tie it up at 7-7. Lauder will kick off now for the BYU team. Cowboys with 2 men back on the 5-yard line. Edmond and Rome. So Lauder kicking into a slight wind right now. Here's the kick. Kicks it very high, and it'll go out of bounds? It did. Went out of bounds right around the 2-yard line, well up at the 7, the official says. And so the Cowboys will have the option, and they'll probably take the football at the 35. 7-7 tie.
Much the effort here by Drage. He had the big play on a cross to get him down there, and he just works free. He settles down like a basketball player, gets a little position, you widen out a little bit so people can't get around you, and then Hancock, who's really come on. Jay, ever since if you take a look at the scoring drive, ever since he threw the ball hard to Willis, everything he has thrown since then has been with touch. Let's look at Joe Tiller. This is a very good coach. He understands offensive football. Had more surgeries last year. Just wasn't fair. They've moved the ball effectively today through the air.
They even had coaches who had surgery last year.
That's right.
First and 10 from the 35-yard line for Wyoming. Evans goes in motion. And here's Hughes to throw. Does throw into the middle of the field. Completes it to Edmond. He's to the 45. And he'll be down at the 48-yard line. He cut right into the middle of the field. BYU is right on top of Hughes. As he threw it, he got it away.
If you appreciate offensive football, you'll appreciate this pattern. This is a screen. Now watch how they do it. It's downfield. And look at the linemen as they form. The timing must be perfect here. Clark finally catches up with him, and they move the chains.
First down, Wyoming, on the Cowboy 48-yard line. They've had 2 turnovers. They lost a fumble, and BYU also has an interception. Here's Hughes, gives to Driver. Driver tries the middle and gains 4. Down in BYU territory now. Tackled by Lenny Gomes.
Gomes has had a nice ball game in the first half. Once again, Driver looking for a step, and you just have the feeling if he gets in that secondary, you're in serious trouble. Got a lot of ability. 205 is a plug. One's close to the ground, hard to knock down.
Second down and 5 for the University of Wyoming. On the Brigham Young 47-yard line, the game is tied 7-7 right now. Cowboys scored first. 1 setback, 2 men wide to the right. Hughes fakes it, and he's hit as he throws it, but he got it off and completes it, and it'll be down to the BYU 35-yard line. Well, I thought they had him for a loss. He just sort of flipped it out there to Mike Jones. Derwin Gray knocked him out of bounds.
Watch the hit, and then it looks like the lead throw on a double play by a shortstop. I tell you what, gets it off, and Jones, who has terrific hands, moves the chains.
Dwight Driver is injured on the play. He's sitting down at midfield as they check him out. So Hughes doing well. Hughes is a junior out of Gridley, California, as a JC transfer. Conference MVP in the as a junior college player.
Dwight gets up, looks like he'll be all right. Larry Carpets, the offensive coordinator, has got a nice little scheme.
Well, the Cowboys have the ball down on the BYU 33-yard line now. They've moved the ball effectively in this game. Been hurt with a couple of turnovers. Hughes is 10 of 14, 147 yards passing, and has a first down on the BYU 33. Brings a man in motion to the right. Fakes the handoff. He's still got the football. Back to throw. Being chased now. Runs up to the 30 to the 27-yard line before they bring him down. So they flushed him out of the pocket, but he turned it into a gainer. Derwin Gray, the tackler.
Jay, remember a guy named Eddie LeBaron who showed America the value of carrying out your fakes? This fake buys him time. You get the collapse there by Pitts, and it buys him a little time. This is pretty good coverage by the BYU secondary. Hughes isn't going to win any foot races, but he picks up some yardage simply because of his ball handling, freezing.
2nd and 4, Wyoming. 9:15 to go in the half. Cowboys in a 7-7 tie, trying to break the tie. A quick pass is incomplete. Just looked up and threw it quickly to tight end Matt Swenson. Matt had one hand on it, juggled it, and dropped it.
That was just trying to find the hot receivers. BYU is bringing 2 backers, and it just doesn't happen. Swenson will come out. Jones comes back in, got the good hands. Jones is from South Dakota. I had lunch with him the other day. Quite a young guy. We have our Big Four in Denver, just like you have at Salt Lake City, and you get to meet with these kids, find out a little bit something about them. Jones is a quality person.
3rd and 4 for the Cowboys. Hughes at quarterback. They'll run it. That's Driver. He will not get the first down. Won't come close. Hand off to the right side, slanting to the right. But Driver was met immediately by BYU's Shad Hansen, and he stood him up, so they'll bring in the field goal kicker down.
Hansen is a very good form tackler. Reminds me of another BYU linebacker, Craig Bozich. In fact, Mark Lyons on this trip spent a little time with Bo. He's a pilot now. Doing pretty good. I'd fly with Bozich, wouldn't you? He's kind of a safe
take care of him. Here's Chris Mindlin to try a field goal. He's made 7 in a row this year and is now 6 out of 8. His long kick, 38 yards. This kick will come from the 32, so it's a 42-yard attempt. Score tied 7-7. Kicking with the wind. Drives it up there, and he missed it. Fingers off to the right. So we've had 2 field goals missed, one by each team, and the BYU defense holds. And with 8:19 to go in the first half, it's still a 7-7 tie. Live from War Memorial Stadium in Laramie, BYU and Wyoming in WAC football, a 7-7 tie. The Cougars 1st and 10 on their own 25-yard line as Hancock, quarterback, audibilizes. He's back to throw, throws quickly to the right side, and it's almost picked off. Well, Rex had it, dropped it. It was hanging in the air there, and Paul Wallace had a shot at it and missed it.
That's one Wallace will have a dream about tonight. Man coverage.
6.
Oh, yeah. They cross, kind of a pick play, and this is a touchdown for Wallace. he doesn't realize where the football is. He comes in to make the tackle, so it's 2nd and 10. Hancock dodges a bullet here.
2nd and 10 Cougars from their own 25-yard line. Sweep to the right side. That's Willis. Can he get around there this time? He cannot, but he cuts it inside and makes 4 out of it. To the 30-yard line. Brent Schieffer tackled him.
Wallace came up. He had contained, refused to let Pilgrim knock him down. They have to cut it short. Here it is, trying to go outside. Watch 70 Pilgrim as he pulls, and there just isn't anything to do. Wallace had contained, so you got to cut it up inside, and Schaefer comes over with a hit.
Cougars were last in the WAC in turnover margin coming into this game with a -8. In this game, it's a +2 with a fumble recovery and an interception. Almost gave it up themselves right there. Here it is 3rd and 6 for BYU. Hancock to pass. Pumps once. They'll sack him at the 25-yard line. Ball goes bouncing free, but the officials say he was already down.
Boy, that's John Bruley. He comes in. He weighs 251 pounds, and he had a bull rush. He just put that head down, drills him. What? Bruley. Bull rushes right there. Look at that. And then he comes in. Pretty good coverage by the Cowboys secondary.
In to punt for BYU will be Brad Hunter. And I think they're going to use Hunter now as the punter when they need long yardage, and they'll go with Herrick in the pooch kicks or the shorter ones.
He had a 59-yarder the first time. He hit one pretty good the next time.
Kicking from the 12. Again, very high. No fair catch. Taken at the 40 and down at the 47-yard line.
There's a flag.
There's also a flag that goes down.
Tell you what happened, Jay. They're going to nail number 19, Eric Nolan, for a clip right there.
Bruce Jenny got downfield for BYU on the hit. And Roan was returning the punt. 6:43 to go in the quarter. A 7-7 tie, but the Cowboys will get hurt on this penalty. They would have had the ball right at midfield. Coach Tiller.
Illegal block in the back on the receiving team. 10 yards. First down.
So that's the 10-yard penalty, then, not the clip, but the block in the back. They changed that rule this year. Well, we got 6:43 to go in the first half. The teams are tied 7-7. This is the Blue and White Sports Network. Well, these two teams kind of playing each other to a standstill right now. It's a 7-7 tie as the Cowboys take over on their own 35 after that 10-yard penalty on the punt return. Well, BYU is into the secondary right now. They say a Cowboy offensive lineman moved, and that's why I think it's Herget that moved in there. See which way the officials will rule.
I thought Van Rokel on the left side moved. Let's see if
Dead
that's
ball
true.
foul. Illegal snap on the offense. First and 15.
Illegal snap. What'd they do?
I thought the
Faked
left
it like-
tackle moved. As we look at the rushing stats, well, we kind of featured the running game at the top. Not much to whistle about. Now the passing's a little different.
The Cowboys have the edge there. First and 15 for Wyoming. Cowboys with 3 penalties for 20 yards. BYU 1 for 10. And it's first and 15, Wyoming at the 30. Here's Hughes back to throw. Throws it out on the left side. It bounced before it got to the would-be receiver. Mitchell covering for the Cougars, and Yarborough was the man they were trying to get it to.
Jay, you notice that Ken Schmidt, defensive coordinator, coming an awful lot with nickel now as a 4th down lineman. Normally he is a backer. They go with the 3-man front. This ball is down low, and I believe you'll see the draw here.
You know, Irv, this is the last time these teams will play for 3 years. 2
Yeah.
years. The next 2 years after that, the way the WAC schedule is, they don't play each other.
Well, with Fresno coming in, let's see if they run the draw. Now, I don't think that's the formation for it.
Second and 15, 1 setback. 2 men wide to the left. Now the setback shifts over to the right. And here's Hughes looking to throw. Looks into the middle of the field, throws into the middle of the field, and completes it to the 42-yard line. It's not enough for the first down. Mike Jones, the tight end, caught it. Chad Hansen and Brad Clark tackled it.
Once again, 5 in the pattern as they use motion and get Terrence Hendricks outside. He was wide open. The coverage just wasn't there. Looks at Hendricks, instead comes back to the sure-handed Jones. He just runs a very shallow drag pattern. And they need about 3 for the first.
Third down, 3 yards to go for the first down. Score tied 7-7. 6 minutes to play in the first half. Cougars load up the defensive line. I formation. Now they change it. Go to split backs. Hughes is going to throw for the yardage for the first down.
throws one way down the field, and it is caught. It's going to be a score. Wow, third and short yardage, and they hit the big guy, Yarborough, for a score.
Yarborough's fourth catch of the day. This is a great call. Third and short. Looks off a la Unitas. Comes back. It's a foot race, and Yarborough, who really has some ability, beats Mitchell for the second time today. A touchdown on the fade pattern. That's a great call. Everybody has these plays when you have the courage to pull the trigger. Tiller and Larry Corfitz pull it third and short.
And Midland kicks the extra point. He's perfect on the season. 20 out of 20 as Yarborough gets the score on a fingertip catch. Third and short yardage, and they go for it all and they get it.
Well, I'll tell you what, that Hughes pretty good quarterback now. He's close to 200 yards, and he lays this one right on the money.
He had, on the season, thrown for just about 1,400 yards, completed 55% of his passes. His efficiency rating is 116.6, which is not that high, but he's been efficient today. 42-yard touchdown, and Hughes is 12 of 18 now for 201 yards. Yarborough's caught 3, and he's got a touchdown. So the two players we highlighted, Drage for BYU and Yarborough for Wyoming, each have scores today. This one, a little more spectacular.
Oh, yeah. And that was the call of the day. They came out, it looked to me like they changed it at the line of scrimmage. They came out in the eye, and I thought they were going to play fake and throw short. Hughes apparently saw something he liked. They were in bump coverage. He changed it to a T-set and let him have it.
Yarborough leads the WAC in receptions per game. So Midland kicking out. The kick will come back to BYU to Christensen at the goal line. To the 5, to the 10, to the 15. Doesn't make the 20. He's banged down hard about the 18-yard line. And Brigham Young University will take over. It's a long way to go.
Here's a touchdown once again. Hughes looks right, comes back, bump coverage, no help from the safety. And this is the second time they've gone to Yarborough. They split him out so that the safety really can't help out. And he scores a touchdown. As you look at the story, 3 plays, 65 yards.
Wyoming leading Brigham Young 14-7, 5:40 to play. Cougars have won the last 3 times they played the Cowboys, but there was a stretch 2 years ago, 2 years in a row prior to that. The Cowboys won both and went to the Holiday Bowl for 2 straight years. In fact, they were undefeated for 2 years in the WAC. There's a pass up the middle. It's complete close to the 30-yard line to Rex, the tight end, and BYU has a first down. Kramer covering.
Val Edwards has used this play forever. If you take away the curl, they'll go to the tight end. Rex gets out against a nickel package, able to beat the extra back. It's a nice toss by Hancock. Both quarterbacks really heating up.
BYU's won the WAC the last 3 years, but the 2 years prior to that with Paul Roach coaching, the Cowboys were undefeated for 2 consecutive years in the WAC, and no one had ever done anything like that. Well, at least not for a long time. Go back to the days of the Arizona days.
Lost to Iowa and Oklahoma State in the Holiday Bowl. Barry Sanders' team.
Here's a running play. That's Kalen Hall's got some room this time for 5. He's to the 35-yard line, maybe a 6-yard gain. And BYU down by 7, trying to move the ball. John Burrow, the tackler.
Counter trap. If you watch the Washington Redskins play on Monday Night Football, this is their play. You pull, look at that Broomfield pull and drill somebody. And Pay is standing out there blocking, and pretty good game.
4 yards to go for a first down, 6-yard run. 2nd and 4 for BYU. Cougars with the ball on their own 35-yard line. They're down by 7. Hancock quarterbacking for BYU. Straight back to throw this time. Looks, does throw, completes it. A gain of only a couple yards, however. That was to Jamal Willis, and Paul Wallace hit him right away. Willis had no chance to get moving.
Willis didn't go out far enough to get to the sticks, and Norm Chow, I'm sure, will tell him about that. Got to be aware of where you're at on the field. So need a couple here with 3rd down, and it's kind of an in-between play. Do you run it or you throw short?
3rd down for BYU. They need 3 yards for a first down from their own 36 with 4:07 to go in the first half. 2 split backs this time. Hancock's going to throw for it. Looking, does, completes it to Hall coming out of the backfield. He's got the first down.
You know, Wyoming knew what they're going to do. It's a formation where you split your backs, that you're going to run a circle when it's 3rd and 3, and yet the athlete is able to beat it. Here it is. Circle pattern. Willis is coming out of the left. Hancock looks right, comes back, gives him something he can handle. That's a nice effort there by both people.
Tom Kramer pulled him down. Brigham Young with a first down on the Cougar 41-yard line. 3:45 to go in the half. BYU trying to get downfield and tie it up. They're down by 7. They trailed 7-0, tied it. Now the Cowboys are back out in front, 14-7. Shotgun. Direct snap. Hancock has it. Looking, throws it downfield, and it's caught at the 40. And to the 32-yard line, that's Eric Drage, the big play man for BYU. Junior Marcellus wrestled him out of bounds.
That's as wide open as the BYU receiver has been today. And Drage has the ability to do that. 5 in the pattern. The front 5 protecting too. Look how wide open he is here, Jay. Well, I'll tell you what. Watch the straight arm here. Now, this is a guy who likes combat. See, I like guys like that. And I'll tell you what.
Marcellus,
that defender, Junior, didn't back down.
He used the sidelines to force him over there. 1st and 10, BYU in the Cowboy 32. Here's Hancock to throw again. Does throw downfield. Tipped and incomplete. He was going to Naughty Valdez that time, but it was tipped by a linebacker. There's also a flag down on the play at the line of scrimmage.
Well, what an effort that time by Jarek Teal, because that thing looked wide open. Valdez had a lot of room.
We have 3 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the first half. Wyoming leads 14-7.
See if Joe Tiller wants to take this penalty, thinking push him back in case it comes down to a field goal.
Well, they'll turn it down. Hancock is 9 of 17 now for 137 yards. He had completed 4 in a row until that last one. So BYU will have a 2nd and 10. Wyoming had the choice of making it 2nd and 10 or 1st and 15, and they took the down. 3:18 to go in the half. Hancock for BYU with split backs. Otis Sterling wide to the left. Hancock dropping straight back to throw. Steps up in the pocket, rolls to his right, throws it, incomplete. Kalen Hall at the 30-yard line dropped the ball.
Well, that ball was right on the money. Hall just unable to come up with it. I thought they might go to Rex. He had an inside release, lined up in a flex position, and drifted down the middle, but Hancock, when he was flushed, goes to the running back.
Cougars face 3rd and 10. That stops the clock with 3:11 to go in the first half. They're on the Cowboy 32-yard line. Hancock with 3 men to the right. Nowatzki, Valdez, and Drage, and he'll run from the shotgun. He's had good protection in the game. The snap, he's got it. Looking the field over.
That's Hamuli.
Throws it way downfield, and it is almost intercepted. It's incomplete. Naughty Valdez at the goal line was waiting for it, but Paul Wallace stepped in front of him and almost picked it on.
Well, this is the reason people around here are so high on Wallace. At times, he just has a sensational ability. Watch the effort here. I thought they might go to Hamuli, who had drifted open. This ball hangs just a little bit, and Wallace steps inside.
Well, they'll turn it over to Lauder.
Here's Hancock, who doesn't get to see the end of this thing.
Lauder's going to try a field goal. He's missed one in the game. He'll kick it from the 39. 49-yard attempt. And not much in the way of wind, some. Here's the kick. It's low and off to the right, so he missed it. So the Cowboys stop him with 3 minutes to go in the first half. Wyoming takes over after BYU had a drive moving, but they can't get it into the end zone or can't get the field goal either, and it's still 14-7. Lauder's now 7 of 13 on the season, kicking field goals. Stay with us at halftime as Carlton Wing updates you on scores around the country on the USA Today CNN Top 25 scoreboard. Carlton will also have a special guest, a visit with BYU's athletic director, Glenn Tuckett. That's at halftime on the Blue and White Network Halftime Report. Cowboys with a first down from their own 32-yard line. Hughes, running play, hands it off the left side, and tackled right near the line of scrimmage on the sweep is Dana Day, tackled by Dewey Gray for BYU.
Gray really runs with the football. Very sure tackler. Really runs well. Never really able to get north and south. Watch the ball carrier here as Day just is overmatched by the angle that Gray has.
Each team with 3 timeouts remaining. There's 2.5 minutes to go in the half. The Cowboys have 2nd and 10 from their own 33-yard line. They lead Brigham Young by 7, 14-7. No setbacks. As the tailback goes in motion, here's Hughes to throw. Into the middle of the field, he's got Yarborough. It's complete to the 47-yard line, but there's a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
That'll go against BYU. They were offside.
Gray
Yarborough, excuse me, Jay.
Gray and Herget were covering.
Yarborough lines up in the slot and finds the open area.
Offside, defense, penalty decline. First down.
Now here's the play out of trips. There's the offside by the nose guard, Lenny Gomes. And then Yarborough in the slot. Well, that's a nice pass right there. This is 5th catch of the afternoon, having a big, big day.
Cowboys with a first down on their own 47-yard line. Hughes dropping back to throw. Flips it over the left side. It's caught. That'll be all the way to the BYU 42-yard line where he's knocked out of bounds. That's Christopherson. The running back, Patrick Mitchell, knocked him out of bounds, and the Cowboys have a good passing scheme going here today.
Ryan is out of Glendale, Arizona. He delays, slips out in the flat, and Hughes, who does a terrific job looking one way, coming back the other way. Christopherson has really given him something this afternoon. You got to be impressed with Hughes, though.
There to the BYU 40. 3 men wide to the right side. They could get another score. There's plenty of time. Hughes wants to throw again. Under pressure, does throw. Incomplete this time. Gray covering for BYU, intended for Edmond, who had a hand on it but couldn't hold it.
Well, he really got nailed up front, he being Joe Hughes, because I guarantee you, number 93, Scott Sarala, drills him pretty good. Watch 93 right. Well, we lose it right there, but pretty tough when you're trying to throw the football and somebody's breathing down your back.
2nd and 10 Cowboys on the BYU 40-yard line. Cowboys leading 14-7. We now have 1:50 to play in half number 1. Both teams trying to go over 500 in their record in the WAC. Here's Hughes to throw. The rush is on. They'll sack him this time. All the way back to the 40, well, the 50-yard line where it'll probably be marked down. Somebody coming from the right side untouched. Nathan Hall.
Well, all right, in your living room, check this out. Nathan Hall has played effectively all year long, and he gets a little help with the rush here from Randy Brock, 97. Hall and Brock with the big hit takes him out of field goal range. Timeout for, I believe Wyoming calls it timeout.
Cowboys call it timeout. So BYU brings the entire defensive unit over to the sidelines to talk it over. The Cowboys will have 3rd and 18.
I'll tell you who's a nightmare, Jay. You watch this Yarborough. He's a nightmare to cover.
Sure is. Be sure to be with us 2 weeks from today as BYU will be back home in Cougar Stadium to host National Power Penn State. Join us for a big Halloween matchup as BYU clashes with Penn State. They played last year back at Penn State, and the Nittany Lions won a pretty good margin. Oh, it was a very good first half. But in the bowl game, with Ty Detmer, when Ty was playing the year he was a junior, that's one of the best college football games I've ever seen.
Terrific
BYU and Penn State.
Tell you something, Penn State, I thought had Miami. There's a guy who grew up a couple hours from here, had an interception, a guy by the name of Darren Crine, that changed that ball game around totally.
Penn State could conceivably have been coming into Provo in number 1, but not after losing that close one. So join us in Halloween. BYU and Penn State 2 weeks from today on the Blue and White Sports Network.
Ken Schmidt, the defensive coordinator, had a nice call on that last one as he let Nathan Hall play Sikkim. Linebackers like that, Jay. They like to get that call. People call it red dog.
Their eyes light up.
Sikkim is what it is. Yarborough's in the slot. For those of you who like to follow what Ryan does.
3rd and 18 for the Cowboys. It's marked down on the Wyoming 48-yard line. Here's Hughes to throw into the middle of the field. Nice catch, but it's not enough for the first down. Who did he go to?
That's Yarborough.
Yarborough.
I tell you what they do. This is really well thought of. Trips right, send a man in motion the other way. That means that the safety is out of it. That's a pick play. You might get called for that one. And coming over and making the hit is Herget, or else there's big-time running room in the middle.
Well, the Cowboys have 4th down then. And let's see, they will need about 5, maybe 6 yards. They'll need 6 yards for a first down on the BYU 36. So we're looking across the field as they talk things over with the offensive coaches. And we'll see if the quarterback comes out there or the field goal kicker. 1:29 to play. Now BYU brings the defensive unit over to talk to the defensive coaches. Ken Schmidt's there, Tom Ramage and others.
Tell you one thing, Jay, if they bring the quarterback back on the field, I'll bet you every guy on that BYU sideline is yelling, "Watch the fade," if Yarborough lines up on the left side.
Well, the Cowboys started back onto the field. It is Hughes coming out there. We have 1:29 to play. in the first half of the football game. And the Cowboys lead the Cougars 14-7. They're on the BYU 36-yard line. Hughes had a good game, 254 yards here in the first half. Hughes starts back off the field, gets further instructions. Here's the BYU defensive unit out there.
I'll tell you, Jay, they throw it better than Fresno did last week. And Fresno was very, very effective with their passing game. But Hughes has used them all today.
Okay, here's the 4th and 6th play for the Cowboys. One man wide to the right, one to the left, one in the slot on the left side, one setback. BYU showing blitz. And they are after him, and here's that pass down the sidelines. Yarborough, has he got it? He has. He's at the 13-yard line. Derwin Gray covering, but Yarborough made the catch under pressure, and Hughes got it to the right spot.
5 under, 2 deep. McCullough has the assignment. They have thrown this fade perfectly, this time to the right side, and only the safety coming over saves the touchdown. Watch Yarborough. We isolate on him, runs past the freshman. Boy, I'll tell you what, he accelerates, makes the catch, and then gets drilled by Gray, but they're in great shape here.
1st and 10 on the 13, and on the first play, Hughes just steps back and throws the ball to the turf. A play that became legal a year or so ago to stop the clock. So the Cowboys take over, or will have the ball, with a 2nd and 10 on the BYU 13. So now they're looking at a possible 6, and if not, they're in good shape for their field goal kicker.
Jay, when you come up and bump at the line of scrimmage, or press, as a lot of coaches like to call it, you have got to make sure you get your hands on the receiver. You got to get a pass rush. All of it must be coordinated.
2nd down call. Hughes looking. He's got some time. Into the middle of the field, and it was caught down at the 3-yard line. Nice skidding, diving catch by Eric Edmond. And the Cowboys are playing as well as any team BYU's played this year.
Without question. And this pass had to be perfect. It absolutely was. Watch where Hughes puts it. A lot of pressure as they bring 5 this time. And Hughes somehow gets it off. It can't be intercepted. It's either incomplete or it's there. Now they're hurrying.
1st and goal on the BYU 2-yard line. They're going to have to call timeout. I think you saw Hughes look over to the left like he was counting players. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe they didn't have 11 players out there. So Coach Tiller spends a timeout, but that's not really a problem for them right now, Irv. 58 seconds to go in the half.
Well, I'll tell you what Joe is upset with, though. You know, you don't like to see kids get excited and they forget they're supposed to be in a ball game. You think she cares?
I don't think she knows what a football is.
All right, here's Joe Tiller.
Now, that was their last timeout ever, so they have no more timeouts, but they also need only 2 yards to get in the end zone.
We saw Jim Swinney last week, Fresno State. Joe Tiller, product of that same system. Dennis Erickson, John Smith, the guy at Idaho, Keith Gilbertson at California. The one-back offense, spread it out, create some natural gaps. See what they come up with here. Hughes has been as good as anybody I've seen on this field. There have been some pretty good Cowboy quarterbacks.
Well, defensively, they've been giving up nearly 400 yards a game. They've played very well against BYU defensively in this half. So the Cougars bring the defensive unit back onto the field as the Cowboys have a 1st and goal situation from the 2-yard line, and they lead by a score of 14-7.
Tight formation. Let's see if they play fake.
Driver is a setback. Hughes with the ball. He's going to throw it. He's being chased, and they'll run him out of bounds back around the 4-yard line. There's also a flag down in the end zone.
See if they got BYU for holding on the perimeter. That's the call.
Cowboys say it's on BYU. So that put it on the 1-yard line.
You got a flag on the other side, too, offsides.
That's on BYU. So the officials sighting across the field. 53 seconds to go in the half now. And the Cowboys with a superb opportunity to get in the end zone.
Offside. Defense, half the distance, still 1st down.
So it's still 1st down. 53 seconds to go in the half. Now they're 1.5 yards away from the goal line. As Hughes brings his team up again in a tight formation. Driver is the middle back, the deep back. Hughes with the ball. He gave it to Driver, and he didn't make it.
He slipped, Jay. I think he had a touchdown. Herget falls on top of him. They're trying to hurry. Get lined up. You got to watch out that you don't have a motion penalty. You got to make sure you get a field goal team in if you don't score.
38 seconds. Hughes just fires the ball to the turf to stop the clock. So there are 33 seconds left to play in the first half. And the Cowboys are knocking on the scoring door, but they haven't been able to open it yet. They will have, it'll be third down.
If you run the football here, my guess is you run behind 55 Hawkins. He's been their most effective blocker. He's 290 pounds, even though he's a freshman, a redshirt freshman. The last time they were in this situation and had time to call the play, they ran a sprint out, let Hughes get to the perimeter.
Okay, here it is. Third and goal from the 1.5-yard line. Hughes rolling to the right. Can he make it himself? I don't know. Now the officials say yes. At first, the official on the one side did not give any signal. Then the one to the right said it's a touchdown.
Hansen hit him low, and Gray was cleaning up high. Hughes isn't the fastest guy, but he's so competitive. Now watch him here. They do go to the perimeter, block it pretty good. Here's the hit by Hansen and Gray, and he gets in.
Not by much.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know. One more angle. I want to see another angle here. Hansen hustling over. Gray with the hit.
Gray was trying to steal the football.
Yep.
29 seconds to play. A flag goes down. As the extra point is kicked, it was good, but there's a flag down on the field.
I think BYU is offside.
That makes it 20-7, and the extra point will count. Yep, BYU offside, so they'll take the extra point. And Mindlin has made 21 out of 21 on the season, and the Wyoming Cowboys have outplayed the BYU Cougars here in the first half.
The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Extra point is good.
The extra point is good to make it Wyoming 21, Brigham Young 7. 29 seconds to play in the first half. Remember, this came after BYU had moved downfield. They were stopped, and the Cowboys, using that old final minute, that BYU's famous for moving the ball the last couple of minutes of the first half, but this time the Cowboys did it very effectively.
Well, Wyoming, people looking in who are coaches, has shown folks how to beat bump and run coverage. You get yourself a Ryan Yarbrough, and you throw it to him, because he has been sensational. Play hasn't been stopped once today.
They'll kick off from the 40-yard line, marking off that penalty against BYU on the kickoff. Cougars have Christensen and Johnston as the two deep men, with only 29 seconds left to play in the first half, and Wyoming ahead 21-7. This would be a big blow for the BYU team. They've still been looking for a bowl this year, but they play at Notre Dame next week and then play Penn State at home the week after that. And BYU, if they lose, they'd go under 500. That'd be their fourth loss of the year. Not many years that Lavelle Edwards has had a team that's lost 4 times. So Mindlin will kick off. The wind blowing right now, enough that they'll have to hold the ball. He drives this one very high with the wind, and there'll be no return. He kicks it about 8 yards into the end zone. So Brigham Young University will take over 1st and 10 on their own 20, with just 29 seconds to go in the half.
Pick up this angle here. Hansen comes over. Gray hits him up high. Does he get in before the knee goes down? Looks like it. Well, I tell you what, it's really close. From our angle, the same one as the officials, it's really difficult to see exactly when that knee goes down.
1st and 10, Brigham Young from their own 20 with 29 seconds to play in the half. And Hancock's going to throw on 1st down. Flips it over the middle. It's caught. Caught by just enough for the 1st down, I believe. Christensen caught that one. Marcellus tackled him.
Stop the clock to move the chains. Little underneath pattern as Wyoming is dropping 7 men extremely deep. They'll give you something underneath.
BYU in the hurry-up offense with 20 seconds to go. They have a 1st down on their own 30. Hancock back to throw. Throws for the sidelines. Caught. And the official says he didn't go out of bounds. So Drage will call a timeout right away at the 36-yard line with 8 seconds showing on the clock.
Well, what you try and do here, I would assume, is try and throw something up close to midfield. This guy's got a good arm. Get out of bounds and then let him throw the Hail Mary to 3 wideouts. Ryan will come over and visit with the staff over here. Norm Chow is next to us in a booth. Roger French on the field.
There's Hancock going back after talking to Roger French. Well, it didn't seem like it took any time at all to play the first quarter in 13 minutes. At halftime, we'll have the USA Today CNN Top 25 scoreboard, and Carlton Wing will talk to BYU Athletic Director Glenn Tuckett. That's at halftime today on our Blue and White Network. But it seems like it's taking an eternity to play the last minute and a half.
Always seems to happen that way.
2nd and 5, Brigham Young from the Cougar 35, as the Cougars trail the Cowboys 21-7 here. And this could be the last play of the first half. Split backs now back into the shotgun is Ryan Hancock. We've got Tyler Anderson wide to the left with sprinter speed. They'd like to get it downfield. Here's a pass way downfield.
See if he can get out of bounds.
It's caught. Did he get out of bounds at time? 1 second on the clock.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a terrific effort.
Tyler Anderson got out of bounds on the 35-yard line of Wyoming, and there's 1 second to go.
Anderson, boy, he had to have a clock in the back of his brain here to get out of bounds, because now you do have a chance for the Hail Mary. They'll probably put 3 wideouts and let it go. That's a nice effort by Anderson. They'll call a timeout. No sense saving him. You can't keep him. The ball is at the 35-yard line. Easily reachable is the goal line for this guy. This is the guy with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. He'll have no trouble getting it to the end zone if he has enough time. It just depends on what you want to do. You put 3 on one side, or do you go double wing?
And there he is talking to Roger French, the BYU offensive coordinator. Cougars down by 14 points here in the first half of the game as Hancock will come back out. BYU will receive, or at least they have the option to receive in the second half of this football game. The Cowboys won the coin toss, but elected to receive, so BYU has the option in the second half.
Jay, I've seen some strange things happen with the Hail Mary. Very strange things. None stranger than a Minnesota Viking game I watched. You got to make sure if you're on defense. Now they go with 2 on each side so that the Cowboys can't stack everyone on the same side. They're looking for a pass interference call or a tip, a break, anything.
And here's Hancock dancing around. Chased, rolling to his right, still rolling, and throws it downfield. It is caught by Heimuli, but Heimuli will be down at the 20-yard line. So the first half will end on that note as the Cougars do get some yardage, but they don't get any points. And at halftime, the Cowboys from the University of Wyoming lead the Cougars from Brigham Young University by a score of 21-7. Minden will kick off. BYU with Johnston and Christensen, the 2 deep men. They're each at the 1-yard line. So here we go with the second half of the football game. The Cowboys won the first half by a score of 21-7. Here's the kick. Drives it about, to the 1-yard line, where it is taken there by Christensen. He's to the 20. Reverses a bit, spins his way to the 25-yard line. Brigham Young will take over 1st and 10 on their own 24-yard line.
There are 2 things that are very similar about basketball and football, and that's what happens the first few minutes of the start of the second half. This is very important if BYU is serious about getting back in this game.
Well, they didn't do anything with their running game. Empey, Edwards, Pay, Pilgrim, Broomfield up front did a fine job protecting Hancock in the first half with his passing. They split 3 men wide to the left on first down, and Hancock's back to throw on first down, and does throw on first down, and it's incomplete. Overthrew Drake. He may have thrown that one away, though, because his siren was covered.
The pressure was coming up front by Tyrone Williams, who's had a big ball game. Papillion High School in Omaha, coached by Gene Sir. Did a good job with his pass rush. A little swim technique, got upfield quick.
John Walsh, the BYU quarterback who won the starting job at the start of the year, is to the point where he is just starting to throw a bit now, Herb, and he still has some ideas he may get back in this year. Hancock was 2nd and 10. Straight back to throw this time. The rush is on. Over the middle, completes it. Kalen Hall spins away, and he's over the 40-yard line to the 42-yard line.
That's good running. Hancock is hurt. He's limping. Jones is Young is the backup. I don't know if Hancock can go. He is in a lot of pain. Watch the lick he takes. It's a great effort running the football. Here's the lick by the same guy we've been talking about, number 87, Tyrone Williams, who's played well for Scott Downing.
You also saw Kalen Hall's running ability after he caught that one.
Here's the lick. Stays in a football game.
First down, Brigham Young. They'll run it this time. Willis on a sweep to the left side. This time he's got some running room. He powers his way into Wyoming territory to the 47-yard line. Tom Kramer and Prentice Roan tackling him.
A good effort. Once again, continuing to watch Ryan Hancock as he tries to run it off. Here it is. Just the old Green Bay sweep. They block it very effectively. Look at that guard get out and lead. You know, that's
Jim Edwards.
That's a scary sight when you have a guard who weighs 265 pounds bearing down on you and you weigh 195 as Roan does.
Tom Young is loosening up on the sidelines for BYU. But, it looks like Hancock's going to be able to stay in there. Out of the shotgun from the 47-yard line. They stopped the play before it got underway.
Motion on the left side, Jay. It's just killed him.
We played just a minute here in the third quarter. The Cougars with a running first down, a passing first down. But also, we'll watch Ryan Hancock. Now, he hurt his foot in the Hawaii game. It was not an ankle, it was a foot. And he may have aggravated that.
Here's Tom Young. All his brother has done is probably be everybody's all-pro quarterback. Steve Young has been sensational for the 49ers this year. You hear less and less talk about we got to have Montana because Steve Young has stepped in and done the job. There's his brother.
Tom Young says sometime they will say just the opposite, that Steve is his brother.
Well, time will tell on that one.
First and 15. Hancock throws. Complete to the middle of the field to Drage to the 40-yard line. Not enough for the first down, but a good gainer for BYU.
Well, BYU has come out and done a terrific job. They've taken the football from the 23-yard line. Here it is. Little curl pattern to Eric Drage. Notice Hancock having a little trouble setting up. The protection is good. Beats the coverage. The linebacker drifted back. Telich makes a swipe at it as you look at Lavelle Edwards. Need about 3 here.
Kenny Johnson tackled him. 2nd and 3 for Brigham Young. They'll run it. Sweep. Left side. That's Jamal Willis. Jamal will be thrown for a loss to the 41-yard line. There's also a flag down in the backfield. Brent Schieffer made the hit on Willis, but there was a flag down.
Another kid from Omaha. This is a sophomore. This goes against BYU.
Eric Drage is talking to the official about it.
You're in good shape, and you just kill yourself with a penalty.
Cougars felt, you could tell from Drage that it was legal. All he had his hands out in front pushing.
Illegal block in the back.
What's in the back, Phil?
10 yards from the spot of the foul. Still 2nd down.
So the Cougars hurting themselves with the penalty.
Watch Schieffer come up and make the play. Boy, I'll tell you what, he's played well. Refuses to be blocked. Edwards is out there in pretty good shape. He just does his job, makes the play. Nice effort.
Cougars have 2nd and long yardage instead of 2nd and short yardage. They're back on their own 46-yard line now, and it's 17 to go for a first down.
See if the formation helps you here. Let's see if they circle one of the backs.
Hancock drops back to pass. Good protection. Pass is knocked down at the line of scrimmage. So the Cowboys, after BYU put some life into their offense, now the Cowboys get pumped up and the crowd gets them back up.
I think that was John Burrow, the kid from Pinedale, Wyoming.
Only a sophomore, 6'5".
Here it is. Watch youngster 50 get his hand up, knock it down. The guy he's filling in for, pretty good football players. You look at Burrow. He's filling in for Kurt Whitehead, probably the best one they have. He's got a neck injury.
3rd and 17 out of the shotgun for BYU. Cougars trailing by 14. We're in the third quarter. Hancock dropping way back to throw. Fakes once. Gets it off, and it is...
What a catch.
It's caught by Drage.
I'm going to tell you something. All he does is tip the ball, control it to himself, and he gives him a first down. That's the best catch of the day. Why am I not surprised? Watch Eric Drage. If you appreciate athleticism and never give up, look at that. He has no regard for his body, Jay. That's where you take the headgear and the sternum. He doesn't care.
He got 2 catches on that one. It's to the 34-yard line. 1st and 10, Brigham Young. They had about 3 more yards than they needed on that one for the first down. Hancock up over the center. BYU trying to get in the end zone. Here's Hall. Nice hole, but it closes in the secondary quickly. Open at the line of scrimmage, but Junior Marcellus came through and brought him down.
From Miami, Florida. I'll tell you, that's a great play. That thing had running room. That looked like it was going to run forever. And Junior Marcellus, who went to Scottsdale Junior College, closes it up suddenly. Watch Junior. Look at here. Look at the room. They get the trap right there, and Marcellus comes up. Boom.
Brigham Young with a 1-yard gain, 2nd and 9 for the Cougars on the Cowboy 32-yard line. The Watskis split wide to the left. Back there, 3 men wide to the left. Hancock at quarterback, 1 setback. He's back to pass. Good protection again. Does throw. Drills it. It's caught at the 26-yard line. Not quite a first down. It's Drage who got it. Tackled by Teal and Marcellus.
Excuse me, Jay. They go trips left. Very difficult to cover all 3 receivers. You usually fly one. Now watch what Drage does. He'll go down. They fly Roman, and he comes back to Drage. I really believe if you're BYU, you're in 4-down territory now. I don't think you even think field goal unless you get off schedule and you're really long yardage on 4th down. The 3rd and short, if they don't get it, my guess is you shoot the moon and go again.
Drage has caught 7 for 105 yards. He's right on schedule. They'll run for it. Jamal Willis will not get it. They tried to go the left side, but I'll tell you, the Cowboys have just stopped that BYU running game dead.
All right, let's see.
Teal and Williams.
It is too far, and they'll have to go for the field goal. That's a great job by Teal and Williams. Take a look. You only need a yard. They just run to the football. Williams has had a big day. Tyrone has done the job.
Cougars will try to get at least 3 points out of this drive. The kick will come from the 36-yard line. 46-yard attempt by Lauder, who's 0 for 2 in the game so far. 21-7, Wyoming leading. He's kicking with the wind. Kick has the distance, and it's good. So BYU gets 3 points out of it on a field goal by Lauder. And for Lauder, let's see, he is now 8 out of 14 on the year. It's now 21-10, Wyoming leading. Well, we used just about 5 minutes of the 3rd quarter, and BYU gets a field goal out of it. Now Lauder will kick off for the Cougars with Edmond and Roan back deep for the Wyoming Cowboys. 10-17 left in the 3rd period. Bosco, Cougar quarterback coach, talking to Drage and others there. Well, the Cowboys now to get the football for the first time this half, and Lauder drives this one back out over the fence and back up by the scoreboard, so there's no return whatsoever.
Is Norton Anderson out there with that left foot? This guy really has a leg.
University of Wyoming onto the field, and we had an all-conference type performance from Joe Hughes in the first half. He had a very impressive spring for the Cowboys to win the starting position, and he certainly had an impressive first half against BYU.
He's 25 yards short of his all-time career passing day. He had 312 yards versus the Air Force Academy.
1st and 10 Cowboys in their own 20. Driver goes in motion to the right side. Yarbrough is also out that way. And here's Hughes back to throw. And he does throw it way downfield, and it is caught. Nope. Or did he? It is incomplete. He had it for a moment, then when he fell down, it landed right in his chest, and I thought he caught it then, but he did not. It bounces free. It's an incomplete pass. Covering was Derwin Gray.
Watch Jones. This is Hall who has to pick him up, and well, I tell you what,
right in the chest.
Jones gave it an effort. I tell you what, it's like an outfielder running, and you run on your heels, and the ball bounces. When he hit his head on the ground, I don't think he really saw the football coming down.
2nd and 10 Cowboys in the 20. They'll run it this time. That's Driver. Driver bulls his way forward for 5 yards. He's to the 25-yard line. So the Cowboys will have a 3rd down call coming. Shad Hansen, the tackler for BYU.
Run behind Cody Kelly, Kirk Von Rokel. Rokel was a guard. And tackle now. 3rd and long. Should throw it. Let's see if they throw the drag pattern to the tight end.
They send Yarbrough out to the right side. Edmonds out there with him.
Boy, anytime Yarbrough is out wide, I'm thinking fade. No running backs.
3rd and 5 for the Cowboys. Hughes is to throw, does throw, and completes it just enough for the first down at about the 32-yard line to Yarbrough, covered by McCullough for BYU. So they got what they needed.
Yarbrough drove him off the line of scrimmage, turned right at the sticks. Here it is. And the Cowboys have done a great job keeping him off Hughes, giving him the time to throw the football. McCullough with the play, but it's good for the first down.
University of Wyoming with the first down on the BYU 33-yard line. Hughes at quarterback. Hughes fakes the draw. He still got the ball, throws it to the right side. It's caught by his tight end, Matt Swenson. And Swenson has about 6 yards before he's bumped out of bounds by Hall and Hanson.
Swenson is an absolute load. It's just as simple as that. Big kid. They don't throw the ball to him that much. They use him more as a blocker. He's about 255 pounds. Been honorable mention, all whack.
You know, he's not.
I'm sorry, Jim.
Well, the media guide says he was a high school hurdler.
Yeah,
Look how
at
big he is.
255. A lot of people thought he'd go to Minnesota or Arizona State.
Second and 4.
Obviously another hockey player living in Minnesota.
I'm sure he was. Second and 4 for the Cowboys from their own 39-yard line. Hughes back to pass again. The rush is on this time. Shoots it down the sidelines, and it is incomplete at the BYU 25-yard line. Covering was Mitchell for BYU, and the pass was intended for Curtis Dewberry.
Curtis hadn't done a whole lot this year. That was another fade pattern. Let's see if Mitchell's all right. A little slow to get up.
He's hurt.
All right, here it is, the end of it. That's well covered by Mitchell, who got burned on a couple of fade patterns early by Yarbrough. He's going to have to come out of there. He put no weight on that foot.
Looks like it's his right ankle or right foot. So he is being helped out of the game, helped off the field.
Well, I mean, McCullough's in, and what that does is take away from your nickel and dime package. Now, they're probably not going to be able to play it.
All right, the Cowboys have the ball, 3rd down and 4. Hughes is throwing for it. Does throw it, and it's incomplete. He had the man wide open, and he missed him. That was Yarbrough, and he missed him in the middle of the field. That might have been a touchdown if he'd hit him.
The formation got the safeties, BYU, out of the middle of the field, and that was a touchdown. Big bullet dodged by BYU. He was very upset with himself. He had 6.
I think you could give Herget some credit, Hauber, because he balled it over right in his face as he threw it, so it made it tough for him to see.
That's going to be the key. You're going to have to rush this kid. He has thrown very effectively. You got to stunt. You got to take some chances.
Herget will punt from his own 25-yard line. Now 21-10 the score. The Cowboys leading. Cougars go after the ball, but they don't get it. Fair catch, the signal by Johnston for BYU. He's got it at the 25-yard line, and Brigham Young will take over 1st and 10 at their own 25. This is the Blue and White Sports Network. Patrick Mitchell on the sidelines is trying to walk it off. The way they were working on him, Irv, it may have just been a cramp.
That'd be good news.
1st and 10, Brigham Young from the 25, and Hancock's back to pass. Has the time. Here's the pass downfield. It's caught at the 50-yard line by Otis Sterling for BYU. So the Cougars will have a 1st down at midfield.
Honestly, nobody in the country does it any better than throwing in the middle of the field and getting enough depth than BYU. Nice effort. Otis Sterling goes down about 18 yards, then turns in. Hancock right on the money. Well done.
Kenny Johnson was the tackler. That last punt by Wyoming was a 36-yard punt. Brigham Young with a 1st down just over the 50-yard line into Wyoming territory. Trading 21-10 as we're in the 3rd quarter.
Free
have
play.
Movement.
Well, it won't be.
I don't know how they'll call it.
It won't be a free play because I thought Wyoming was offside. I didn't see any movement. It appeared to me that the left tackle from Wyoming would get flagged here.
Dead ball. False start.
Nope.
Offense. 5 yards.
BYU.
That's the way I used to referee basketball, Jay. And you know our man Michael is going to show it.
I still didn't see.
Where was it?
I don't know. 8:20 to play in the 3rd quarter. The Cowboys ahead by 11 points. BYU went down, got a field goal the first time they had the ball, and stopped the Cowboys. And they had a drive going here and then hurt themselves with a penalty. So it's 1st and 15.
I like the way Gary Pay was pointing to the Wyoming kid.
Hancock zips it out there. It's incomplete. Incomplete. The ball went bouncing free, and the Cowboys had it, but the official said, no, it's an incomplete pass. It looked like he caught it. That's Byron Rex, who only caught the nose of the football. Talich and Johnson covering.
I thought he caught the football, and your question would be whether the ground causes a fumble or it's a fumble. Let's see if there is possession. No.
Nope, he's juggling.
That is a good call by the official. Should never disagree with those officials, Jay.
2nd and 15, except in basketball. We can do it now. 2nd and 15 from the 46-yard line. Their own 46 for BYU, trailing by 11. Hancock to pass again. Now does throw it, completes it in the middle of the field again. This is to the 44-yard line of the Cowboys. So Otis Sterling and Tom Kramer and Jared Teal are the tacklers.
That's great presence and patience. Waited forever for that thing to open up. The Sterling get after a little bit. Look at the protection. Waits, and now finally finds his man.
Brigham Young will face third down and 4 yards to go for a first down, maybe 5. 3rd and 5 for the Cougars on the Cowboy 44-yard line. BYU trailing 21-10 in the third quarter. Hancock looking for it. Here's the pass. Knocked away and almost intercepted. Hancock had to throw it in a hurry because he was hit. Junior Marcellus cut in front, and he almost picked that one off. It could have been 6.
Junior Marcellus would have gone 62 yards for a touchdown. BYU will be forced to punt. Here it is. This is a dream if you're a safety. Look at him stay back there playing robber defense, and he almost robs him for 7 here. Well done.
Play was made by defensive pressure up the middle. Hancock had no time. Here's Joe Herrick in, and he'll try to pooch one downfield, get it out of bounds, or stop it inside the 10. He'll kick from his own 41, his first punt of the game. Kicks it very, very high. Fair catch the signal, taken at the 12-yard line. So the Cougars pin him back a bit, and now it's up to the BYU defense to see if they can stop the Wyoming Cowboys. Wyoming leading 21-10 with 7 minutes to play in the third quarter. Herrick's punt, a 32-yard punt. It's starting to cool off here in Laramie now, and the wind is kind of a cool breeze. 1st and 10 Cowboys from their own 11 after the Herrick punt. Hughes at quarterbacks played a fine football game, and he'll throw on first down and throws it out in the flat and completes it to Yarborough, and Yarborough is horse-collared at the 15-yard line.
Good news, Patrick Mitchell is back in. That tackle by Gray.
Vic Tarleton there helping out. So the Cowboys throw and pick up about 4 on the first down.
Here it is, the quick one by Hughes. He's just handled things with a lot of poise today. Short game.
2nd and 5 for Wyoming from their own 16-yard line. 3 men wide to the left for the University of Wyoming. Been an effective formation for them. But they'll run it. And they won't get very much this time. Running play off to the right. Lenny Gomes for BYU making the hit. And Terrence Hendricks was the ball carrier. He's been injured. And they're hoping to be able to work him back into the system.
Yeah, he's got some ability. As you look at Joe Tiller and Lavelle Edwards both frustrated by the lack of consistent running today. BYU showed some moments at the start of this half.
3rd and 4 for the Cowboys, and they put 2 men wide to the left. No setback. Hughes with pressure up front sets up and throws and completes it for the first down along the sidelines to Mike Jones, his tight end. Todd Hergen knocks him out of bounds, but they get the first down.
And you have to appreciate the set. Double tight end, no running backs, and they just run off the cornerback here with the wideout and let Jones go into the vacated area. That's a nice play. You take a look at Mike Jones.
5:50 to play in the third quarter. Wyoming trying to control the football, and they've done it quite effectively in this game. They have a first down now on their own 25-yard line with 2 men wide to the left, 1 setback. Hughes straight back to throw. Does throw, and it's incomplete. Off the hands of Eric Edmond. He hasn't missed many passes in this game.
He's had a good ball game. This is what he did during the spring, and everybody got very excited.
Edmonds is a sophomore. He played cornerback last year for them. Then they converted him to the offensive side.
Yeah, he was their 5th leading tackler. He was recruited by Michigan and Michigan State. Very fast.
2nd and 10 for the Cowboys from the 25. We're in the third quarter with 5:45 to play. And Wyoming leading by 11 points over BYU. Here's Hughes to throw again. Fakes once, throws it into the middle of the field, and it is intercepted by BYU's Tarleton. Tarleton cut in front of Edmonds and picked it off at the 45-yard line. And for Brigham Young, we'll see if this could be something. Give them a little spark. It was a turnover that set up their first touchdown.
This is one of the few mistakes Hughes has made. He has a man wide open on the post, but he doesn't throw it hard enough. And Tarleton is able to come over and take the floater. Wide open was Edmonds. So a big break for the Cougars. They've thrown effectively in the second half. but only have the 3 to show for it. Tarleton dinged up a little bit. We'll keep you posted there.
Mitchell was back in, but he's still limping a little bit. Now BYU in there offensively. Here's Hancock. He pumps once. He throws way downfield, and it is incomplete, almost intercepted. Tried to get it to Drage. Covering back deep was Paul Wallace, who got his fingertips on it but couldn't hold it.
That wasn't a good choice that time by Hancock. He pump fakes and not very effectively, but Wallace doesn't bite. He stays deep. You can't throw the ball like that. BYU gets a break when the ball is dropped.
So the Cougars will have 2nd and 10 in the Cowboy 46. BYU down by 11. They need to cash in on an opportunity like this if they're going to get back in the ball game. Anderson comes wide to the right. Drage out in the slot on the right. Hall is the setback.
See if they go to Rex. Rex has a backer on him.
Quick one to Drage. Drage gets a block, turns the corner to the 40, and finally out of bounds about the 35-yard line. Now a flag down.
Well, it's a late hit out of bounds, Jay, and that's pretty automatic.
Jared Teal made the tackle. Yeah, that's the personal foul. Watch Drage. You know, he was hit once and does not go down. If he had not been so close to the out-of-bounds line, he'd gotten a lot of yards.
There's a guy who played some running back, and you see he likes this. Watch him turn it up, and he runs very hard.
See the hit right there. He didn't go down.
He'll go out of bounds, and the flag is a little late, but it's correct. You just can't. You got to lay off.
15 yards, first down.
15-yard personal foul on the University of Wyoming. There have not been very many penalties in the Cowboys in this game.
Game has been well officiated. There it is.
4 in Wyoming. That was the 4th one for 35 yards.
Boy, another big afternoon for Drage. Look at his numbers.
8 catches, 116. Hancock's now thrown for 295. Joe Hughes, 314 passing yards now, his career best. Had 312 against the Air Force.
Tell you what, he'd give back about 50 of those if he could have that toss he threw just a moment ago. The Tarleton picked off. There just wasn't anything on it. He floated it.
1st and 10, BYU on the Cowboy 20-yard line. Hancock changing the play. He's back to throw. He does throw. And it is caught. It'll be a touchdown. Eric Drage with one of those sensational catches when he just outmaneuvered a defensive back, and BYU scores.
That was sensational. I thought he might get called for offensive pass interference as there was some jostling going down. The play was changed at the line of scrimmage, and Wyoming changed himself. They backed off from bump. This ball is underthrown, and just a great individual effort by Eric Drage. Look how well it's covered. But Drage goes up, and you can see he does not have pass interference. They're away from bump and run here, Jay. Comes back, and you see the slip there that really hurts Roan.
The extra point attempt is good by Lauder, so Brigham Young University is right back in this ball game now. It is 21-17, just a 4-point difference. And let's see, Lauder has now converted 22 of 23 extra points on the year. And BYU turns an interception into an opportunity and a score.
Well, you know, and a lot of times you wonder if you're talking about the right people at the top of your show. We talked about Drage and Yarborough, and they haven't let anybody down. They have been sensational. Drage did it all on this particular drive.
He's got 2 TD passes in the game now, and now has 10 on the season. Be sure to be with us 2 weeks from today as BYU will be back home in Cougar Stadium to host national power Penn State. And Herb, I guess the score we had today is Penn State lost.
35-31 to BC. BC is for real.
They certainly are. They're playing well. They've beaten some good football teams so far this year. So join us then for a big Halloween matchup as BYU clashes with Penn State. 2 weeks from today on the Blue and White Sports Network, subject to CFA availability. And of course, on Halloween, Herb will be there dressed as a basketball referee.
Yes, I will.
Scare a few people, huh?
You got that right.
Lauder will be kicking off for BYU. Cowboys are 2 men deep. Lauder has the wind to his back. And so probably will not have a return on this one. 21-17. Wyoming leading Brigham Young. Kicks a line drive this time and kicks it out of the end zone. That was not high enough in the air, but it had plenty of distance. Well, that didn't take long to get in the end zone, right? 20 seconds. Remember, one of the interception gave BYU the ball. The personal foul really helped set it up for him.
Drage with just 2 tremendous efforts.
Second half, Drage has caught 5 for 70 yards, and Hancock's 8 of 13 for 124 yards and a TD.
There's a look at Eric Drage, who he just runs such precise patterns, and he's got the toughness to make it work in the middle of the field. All right, let's see what Wyoming does now.
1st and 10 from the 20. Drage was averaging 124 a game to be first in the nation with that stat, so he's improved on his statistic. And here's a pass that's complete. It'll go to the 30, to the 35-yard line. Nice catch by Ryan Christopherson, and Vic Tarleton knocked him out of bounds.
Christopherson has really been effective with that delay. They don't use him a lot. They spot him here. Watch him come over, fake a block, slip out between the tackle and the tight end. Hard to find a guy. Normally the linebacker gets hung up in other things. That's a good effort, though, by Christopherson.
He was a starter for them in the spring. Cowboys with the first down on their own 36-yard line. Hughes has been intercepted twice in the game. Both times the Cougars have used it to their advantage. Here's Driver bouncing off one would-be tackler, but pulled down by Greg Pitts. Carlton Wing has a report for us. Carlton?
On the field today is a clinic put on by the two of the best receivers in the country, Ryan Yarborough for Wyoming and also Eric Drage for BYU. Drage, of course, he's leading the nation in passing, or in receiving, and then Ryan Yarborough's nearing his career high for reception yards. He always seems to turn it on for the big game, too. He had a good one against BYU last year in Provo. Let's go back upstairs.
Okay, Carlton, thank you. 2nd and 9 for the Cowboys from the 37-yard line. They sent a man in motion, so there are no setbacks. Here's Hughes looking to throw right away. Throws it to the man who went in motion. He'll be dropped for a loss.
Not a good choice.
Yeah, Dana Day, who went in motion. He caught the ball in back of the line of scrimmage, and Brad Clark belted him.
It just wasn't a good choice, Jay. They've made very good decisions today, and yet Hughes throws one that he just shouldn't have. He's got a button hook man on the other side, Edmonds, who is open out of trips. All right, Dick Felt will hustle in a dime package now.
And it's 3rd and 12 for the Cowboys from their own 35, leading Brigham Young 21-17. Cougars have outscored them 10-0 here in the third quarter.
Yarborough's to the right. This is where they've thrown the fade.
He'll have to run it this time. He will not get a yardage for the first down, so BYU has forced them into a punting situation. Lenny Gomes and Greg Pitts tackled him. Good coverage by BYU deep.
Very good coverage, so this will bring the punt. Watch what they do here is they let it all hang out. Nickel has rushed a lot today. Flushes, got to run, and it's 4th down. Jay, I got to tell you, that last snap from center, and I believe the guard is snapping, Cody Kelly, really floated back there. BYU looks like they're coming all out.
Mindlin back to kick for the Cowboys from his own 25. Here's the snap. He's got it. Gets the kick away. Johnston is waiting for it. Fair catch, the signal. Takes it on a sliding catch at the 35-yard line. So BYU with the football in fairly good field position, down by 4 points with 3:05 to go in the third quarter, and the Cougars have outscored the Cowboys in this period 10-0.
They've run the ball effectively, and yet I'm guessing, trying to think along with Norm Child and Roger French, that if we could just break one draw the way Wyoming is playing it, we're going to be in pretty good shape. As you look at Lavelle Edwards, a 25-yard punt that time. BYU has thrown very effectively to Eric Drage. He has 5 catches in this half alone.
Cougars 2 to the left, 1 to the right, 1 setback. And they'll run it right up the middle. Not very much. Kalen Hall. Kalen Hall's got 2, maybe 3. John Burrow tackled him. There's Joe Hughes. New career high, 326 passing yards. Quite a game.
Yeah, he has really just come out and done the job.
There's one thing about that WAC schedule. If you're a BYU fan, Herb, you don't have to see Ryan Yarborough next year.
Yeah, that's right. They don't play.
Because BYU doesn't play Wyoming next year. 2nd down and 8 for Brigham Young. From the 37 off the Cougars. Yeah, we had a mix-up that time. Hancock started back, and the ball was never snapped. We're going to get illegal procedure on BYU.
Ryan apparently pulled out early, blaming himself there. Gary Pay had the...
Prior to the snap, we have a false start. On the offense, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
So still 2nd down for the Cougars, but now they'll need 13.
Here it is, Pay waiting, and they're just not together. All the linemen hanging on 2. They thought it was on 3.
Maybe Ryan forgot to count. Total passing, BYU 315, Wyoming 326. 641 passing yards in this game. And here's another pass from Ryan Hancock. Way downfield for Sterling. He's got it. Can he keep his balance? If he does, he will score. He does score. What a catch by Otis Sterling.
You'll never see a better effort. I like this guy, the wideout from Riverside, California. This is just a great play. It's a fade pattern. It's pretty well covered. How in the world does he keep his balance?
I don't know.
Somehow he does it.
He was off balance when he caught it. And it was, boy, it's a good thing he's as tall. What is Otis? He's 6'2", because he had to stretch to catch that one.
This is a walk-on. It just shows you, just because you're not recruited, if you believe in yourself, it'll work. Big catch.
Lauder kicks the extra point, his 23rd PAT of the year. And Brigham Young University, after being outplayed in the first half and down 21-7 at halftime, they now lead the Cowboys by a score of 24-21.
It's worth another look as Hancock really airs it out. And Sterling stumbles. The defender, Roan, is going to catch up with him. And it's Sterling with the long legs, and he is a long strider. Reminds me of Steve Watson, the guy who's played for the Denver Broncos. There's some happy people as they have come out and scored 17 unanswered points.
And Roan did everything you're supposed to do on that play. He caught up with him. He reached in, tried to knock the ball free. There's Otis Sterling, who is in law school at Brigham Young University. He's a senior, but he's now in law school. Well, Brigham Young will kick off, and for the first time in the football game, the BYU Cougars lead. They lead by 3 points with 2:11 to go in the third quarter.
Jay, while lining up, let's mention the guy who has really been something for Wyoming athletics. Today they honored Larry Burlepi. There's a plaque in the press box for Burlepi, as they now renamed this the Larry Burlepi press box. And, this guy's been here about as long as, quite frankly, you've been at BYU and everything, and he's just done a great job for the university. And, Larry was feeling pretty good for the game. Our congratulations.
I agree with that. He was the voice of the Cowboys for many years. If you knew anything or followed Wyoming at all, you knew Larry Burlepi. Here's the kickoff by Lauder, and again, there will be no return as he kicks it over that fence up by the scoreboard. The last two passes for Hancock, a 20-yard TD pass to Drage, a 68-yard TD pass to Sterling. And Sterling's got 3 for 104 yards now in this football game. See, Hancock, I think, now has 9 TD passes on the season. Won't hurt his pass efficiency rating at all.
Scoring drive, didn't take long. Not really a drive. It was just a terrific effort by the QB, Hancock, and the wideout, Sterling.
Okay, the Cowboys will run on first down. They give it to Driver, and he does run. He's got 10. Nice slashing play off to the right side by Dwight Driver. Brad Clark hit him hard, but he got the 10.
Coming right at you. Watch the block by Joe Walgren as they get the chores done here. And Driver, who's been held in check most of the afternoon, one step away from breaking it.
First down, Wyoming on their own 30-yard line. They now trail Brigham Young by 3 points. Driver's got 45 running yards in this game now. Hughes with 2 men wide to the left.
That's going to cost Wyoming.
That time it was if we called it right, or if we saw it right, I think that the lineman moved before the snap. Procedural penalty. Minute 49 to go in this third quarter. Cowboys last week scored 24 points. No, is that correct? 25 points in the fourth quarter to beat New Mexico after they trailed most of the game. Now they have a 1st and 15 on their own 26-yard line with 2 men wide to the left. Hughes sends a motion man to the right. Here's the snap. He's back to pass. Does pass out that way, and it's caught at the 32-yard line. Or did he drop it?
I think
the ball
Jones makes
bounced free,
the catch.
didn't it?
Now they're bringing it back, so it is incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd and 13.
Well, if he dropped it or he was on the line, I couldn't tell.
Jones, pretty reliable, out of Rapid City, South Dakota. Once again, they recruit South Dakota effectively up here at the University of Wyoming. Here it is.
He never had it.
Yep.
It bounced. He caught it on the bounce, and I don't think they count.
Wyoming not as sharp as they were that first half. I thought they were perfect. Second half, they've had a pick. They've had a couple of drops.
2nd and 15. Hughes back to throw. Does throw. It's caught this time. He'll be down at the 34-yard line. Completed the pass to his tight end, Matt Swenson. and Brad Clark took his feet out from under him. The Cowboys will face third down.
All right, here it is. Swenson, the big guy who played a lot of hockey in the state of Minnesota. It's a turnout pattern. BYU playing down in distance, and they do a good job there because now it's third, and you got to pick up 7 here as we look at Joe Tiller. Joe, an outstanding lineman.
Line of scrimmage, the 34-yard line of the Cowboys. Brigham Young ahead by 4 now with less than a minute to go in the third quarter. Ahead by 3, I should say, with less than a minute to go in the third quarter. Here's Hughes to throw for a first down. He's going to run it. Can he get it? Nope. He was stopped before he could reach first down yardage, so the BYU defense has stopped them again, led by Todd Herget.
And Christensen, the nickelback, gives him some help. So Wyoming apparently will have to punt the football. Lose their passing lanes. Coverage was good downfield out of the nickel package. And Hughes is not very fast. I'll tell you, he takes a pretty good look there by Herget.
Chris Mindlin is in to punt. And he will be kicking from around his own 20-yard line. For BYU, the deep man is Johnston. This young man's done a good job hanging on to the football for BYU. Mike Johnston, who's only a freshman. The wide receiver, too. The quarter ends before they get the kick underway. And so, after 3 complete quarters of football, it is now Brigham Young University 24, the University of Wyoming 21. This is the Blue and White Sports Network. Jay Monson, Herb Brown, we go to the fourth quarter of the game. The Cowboys will punt. Herb, we can give Otis Sterling a 10 for balance on that touchdown he scored.
Guarantee he could handle it on the beam.
Mindlin will kick from the 23-yard line. Johnston is back on his own 21-yard line for BYU. Cougars lead 24-21 as we open the fourth quarter here in Laramie, and it's getting overcast now. Here's the kick with the wind. Johnston does not call for fair catch, takes it back around the 15, and will get out to the 17 or 18-yard line. That kick really carried. There's a flag that goes down after the play.
Somebody threw a punch. That was very, very late. Unnecessary roughness should be the call. Just not sure who they... Well, it's on BYU, so it'll be half the distance.
Blocking in the back is the call, so the BYU team will really be in the hole now. Statistically, the Cougars now ahead in passing yards. Neither team anything to write home about when it comes to rushing yardage in this game.
Yeah, for a couple of ball clubs, as you look at score by quarters, that have really been able to run it on the and do the job. Look at BYU in the third period, though. It's quite an effort.
47-yard punt, a 2-yard return. And with the penalty marked off, the Cougars' line of scrimmage will be the 9-yard line. First and 10, Brigham Young from their own 9-yard line. And they have not been able to get anything going with a running game. Neither is Wyoming. Field position favoring the Cowboys at this point, with the Cougars in a 3-point lead. And
the inside handoff, Jay.
Ray Hancock will go back in the shotgun. And that's it. It's a sweep with Jamal Willis. Jamal bangs his way forward for 3 yards. Tackled by Kramer and Marcellus.
Just don't have that real quickness today to make it work. Against Fresno State, everything was quick, boom, boom. And it just hasn't happened. You have days like that.
Gain on the play of 2. Make it 2nd and 8 for the Brighams on their own 11-yard line. They're ahead by 3, as you see there. And we're just starting the fourth quarter. The wind favors Wyoming in this game right now. BYU has to kick. They'll kick into a pretty strong wind. Now they'll sweep to the right side. Willis trying to turn the corner. He's got a lot of room this time. And he's all the way out to the 24-yard line, but there's also a flag down back in the BYU backfield.
I think they got Rex or Broomfield.
Roan made the hit. But the penalty would be on BYU, and instead of Willis getting a first down, the Cougars are really going to be in the hole. And remember what we said, they'll have to kick into a strong wind now if punting down comes up.
Offense, half the distance, replay, 2nd down.
It's still 2nd down for Brigham Young, but now the line of scrimmage is the 2.5-yard line. And they have to get out to the 19-yard line for a first down.
Here comes Otis Sterling into the football game. brings a play in for Ryan Hancock. Sterling had just a fantastic effort. Not only the touchdown catch, he had a crossing pattern that was special a little earlier in the quarter.
He's wide to the left for BYU. Drage is wide to the right. And it's a running play up the middle. Jamal Willis breaks a tackle and fights his way forward to the 9-yard line.
What a spin and a limp leg move he puts on at the line of scrimmage. He was stacked up using the spin and the limp leg. Watch him break it. This is an athlete. Been very good all year long. Here's the contact right there. Boom, spins, limp leg. Picks up 5 yards.
Ty Hopkins tackled it. Brigham Young with a 3rd and 10 call then from their own 9-yard line. They send 3 men wide to the right, 1 to the left. Hancock out of the shotgun. He's got the ball. Throwing from the end zone, dancing around. Here's the pass. Almost intercepted. I could say should have been intercepted. Intended for Bryce Doman, who was sick during the first half, but he was out there in that play. Junior Marcellus had an interception and dropped it.
Threw it into the wind, much like Hughes did, and the ball floats. Now, take a look at this. This could have been 6. Junior Marcellus has perfect position, and the ball floats. Oh, boy, I tell you.
Doman was open, too.
And
well, they turn it over to Brad Hunter then to see if he can kick into the wind and get him out of trouble. He'll kick from about 6 yards in the end zone.
Biggest pair of pads I've ever seen on a kicker.
He got it away, and it's a pretty good one against that wind. Bounces at the 50, takes a BYU bounce to the 45-yard line, and Roan keeps backing up, and finally they gang up on him and knock him out of bounds around the 43-yard line. University of Wyoming will take over then near midfield, trailing BYU by 3. This is the Blue and White Sports Network. Credit kicking into the wind. He got away a 47-yard punt and a -1-yard return. 3 men wide to the left for the Cowboys on first down from their own 43-yard line. They'll run it. Hold to the left side, a gain of 2, maybe 3 yards, as it was a handoff. Is that Hendricks back in there for them? The tackle by Lenny Gomes. Yeah, that's Terrence Hendricks who carried the ball.
Interestingly enough, they run to the left side. That's where their trips formation was set up. Everybody was downfield rolling at people's feet, hoping that this guy can break something and have clear sailing.
It was Shad Hansen who got him.
See what kind of pass Hughes throws now.
2nd down, 6, maybe 7 yards to go for a first down for the Cowboys on their own 47. Big defensive situation for BYU in this game. They'll pitch reverse. They're running reverse. That's Yarborough with the ball. He's trying to get wide to the outside, but BYU has him contained, and he'll be dropped back on the 42-yard line. It didn't fool anybody, although there was some good blocking.
Kevin Nickel did not make the tackle, but Kevin Nickel prevented this thing from going. Watch who screws up the timing. 55 really forces it deep, and that lets Herget make the play. Watch 55 right there. Forced it too deep. Well covered. You got to have somebody always trailing when you play defense, and people will run a reverse, and that's a big loss. Got to throw it now, 3rd and 11.
3rd down for the Cowboys. They're back on their own 42-yard line. They put 3 men wide to the right. And Hughes is back to throw. Some pressure this time. They're onto him, and he's dancing around. Can he find anybody? He gets the pass off, completes it, but it's not enough for the first down. McCullough covering for BYU, and the pass was completed to Terrence Green. So now the Cowboys have a decision. It's midfield. They're down by 3. They face 4th down and 4, maybe 3.
Watch McCullough stay at home, because Hughes somehow dances out of this. Finds a little bit of a seam. Looks like he's going to run. McCullough stays at home, where they got big yardage.
And they're bringing the kicker in. They talked about it, Herb. I think they thought about, should we go for it? They're kicking with the wind.
Well, I'll tell you what. Now, here's a change for BYU. They send 2 people back.
It's a different... No, it's not. It's Gregor, the punter, isn't it? Kicking from his own 35.
BYU really doesn't believe it. They've only got 4 people rushing. Officials stopped the clock. You know what? I think Wyoming had something going. And BYU came out with a defense that confused them. They didn't bring everybody up to the line of scrimmage. Didn't have 2 people on the wide out, and it cost them 5 yards.
I have seen through the years half dozen times when Wyoming has done something like this for BYU. Run off a punt, You talked the other day about we didn't see the quick kick. I've seen them use the quick kick. I think BYU is watching for a possible run off the punt.
Once again, this is really a very safe formation that BYU is using. They're only going to rush 4.
The wind lets up just a little bit right now. Cougars with 2 men back deep. 10:09 to play in the game. BYU ahead by 3. The snap is low. He is going to run. He's going to throw it. And it is knocked down, so BYU will take over. A saving defensive play because there was a man open, and it would have been enough for the first down.
Jay, give credit to special teams. Once again, they were not fooled. BYU never believed that they're going to punt the football. There it is. And this will work if you got 10 up and coming or 9 up and coming. But there was no way this play was going to work because BYU was all over. In fact, Wyoming is fortunate that this thing isn't picked off. Cougars with exceptional field position.
That's Patrick Mitchell who got the hand in there and knocked it down.
Well, you know, and he's kind of had the goat's horns because he's been beat on a couple of fade patterns, and he's hurt. He's playing on guts right now. That was well done.
Well, BYU has the ball with 10 minutes to go then at midfield. They're in Wyoming territory, in fact, on the Cowboy 46-yard line with a first down. 3 men wide to the right for BYU. Hancock back to throw. Good protection. Waits, throws it down the left side. Moody caught it. Is he out of bounds? Nope, he was inbound.
Oh, they're not going to like this.
The Cowboy fans, all the officials in the stand will say no.
It was a great pattern, but it appeared that he ran out of room. Watch Moody. He'll run it up. Actually, it's a chair pattern. And let's see where his feet are. All he's got to have is 1 foot in, does he?
He did it.
Yeah.
He got the foot down. Great play by Moody. Tom Kramer was there.
Moody with a sensational effort. They're on the move now.
1st and 10 on the Cowboy 23-yard line out of the shotgun. 2 setbacks. Moody and Willis. Running play. That's Willis getting wide to the right side. Can he? He gets around the corner. He might score. He's knocked out of bounds. Oh, it's a touchdown, the official says. Moody carries it in there on a sweep to the right side, and that's where he didn't have a blocker in front of him as he got around the corner.
I mentioned this last week. This is one of the toughest motor scooters you'll see. Willis somehow, look at this effort here now. He is beat. He has no angle. He's running east and west.
2. There's a 3rd Cowboy.
And now he just
and
dives.
A 4th. And then he's hit down here, and the officials say he got in.
It's just a great individual effort. One more time.
Willis's 5th touchdown of the year.
Tough guy. Extra point coming, and that's good. And BYU is now taking a 10-point lead.
So Lauder puts the extra point through, and the Cougars have the lead 31-21 with 9:44 to play in the football game. There's Willis, who just scored that TD for Brigham Young. And Lauder will kick off into the wind now. Here's a question for you. Lavelle Edwards looking for his 187th win, I think. Yeah. How many coaches have been at Wyoming? This is his 21st year. How many coaches has he coached against here at Wyoming? You got a guess?
Oh, boy. Let's see. You're talking about Paul Roach, Al Kincaid, Bill Lewis,
Dennis Erickson.
Dennis Erickson. He went against Freddie Eggers. I'd say 6. 8 coaches?
8 Wyoming coaches have been. Here's Lauder's kick. Into the wind, and the wind holds it up, too. Will it go out of bounds? It does.
That's a free ball, too. I'll tell you what, Joe Tiller wasn't that happy that they weren't scrambling a little more on it. It'll be at the 35-yard line, but one more time, the touchdown run by Willis. You try and get your shoulders square and go north and south, and somehow he's able to do it. That's a great move right there. Dives for the end zone.
That was the move that opened it up.
Exactly. It's a good back.
Hancock has over 400 yards passing now, 23 of 40 for 406 yards, and the Cougars have 24 unanswered points against the Cowboys to lead 31-21 with 9:44 to play in the game. But the Cowboys have a young man named Yarborough. It's not over. 1st and 10, Wyoming from the 35. Hughes fakes a handoff. He's back to pass and is hit and is sacked at the 30-yard line. Cougars must have had good deep coverage. Brad Hunter got him first of all.
Coverage was exceptional. They tried to go to Yarborough, and Gray picked him off as Clark shuttled him to him, and it just wasn't anything doing. Watch it. Play fake coming out. Hughes looks deep. It just ain't going to happen. And then Lenny Gomes is the first man with contact and gets some help from his friends. Brock's involved.
How would you like to have Hunter, Gomes, and Brock hit you all in the same play?
Do I have any other choices of what I'd prefer?
2 men wide to the right. 2nd down. Long yardage. Quick pass. Yarborough has it, but immediately he's dropped by Nathan Hall, and there's no gain. Carlton Wing has a report. Carlton?
That last sack by Joe Hughes, he's been sacked on an average of 4 times per game, a total of 24 before this game. I believe that was his 4th. They're on a pace to break the Wyoming record for sacks allowed, so that offensive line's going to have to solidify if Wyoming's going to try to attempt a comeback. What we used to say in high school is that if your offensive line is allowing those holes, you're not feeding your offensive linemen enough. Hughes needs to take them out to the restaurant a little more often. Let's go back upstairs.
Right. 3rd and 16 for the Cowboys. Hughes straight back to throw. Pumps once. Now under pressure, throws it down the middle of the field, and it's incomplete.
Well, he got hit just as he's going to throw the football.
Yarborough was there, but that's why it was an incomplete pass. He was hit.
Nickel did a great job. The coverage was there, and they'll have to punt the football away.
With the wind.
Watch Nickel now, 55. He's rushed most of the ball game. There he is. Makes the
just
hit.
as he threw it. So the Cowboys have really been stopped this second half by the BYU defense, and they'll turn it over to Chris Mindler, their punter, only a freshman. He will kick from his own 15. Let's see. It's Gregor who's punting. My air. He averages 36 yards a punt. Here's the kick. It bounces and takes a BYU roll, be touched by the Cowboys at the 30-yard line. So Gregor has a nice punt this time. Be sure to be with us 2 weeks from today as BYU will be back home in Cougar Stadium to host national power Penn State, a team that lost today to Boston College. There's Lavelle Edwards and Joe Paterno, 2 good friends, 2 longtime coaches in the NCAA. So join us for a big Halloween matchup as BYU clashes with Penn State 2 weeks from today on the Blue and White Sports Network. 42-yard punt by Gregor on the last one. And Brigham Young University has the ball, 1st and 10 on their own 30-yard line, now leading 31-21. Hancock gives to Kalen Hall. Hall driving off the right side, drives it over the 35-yard line. Tom Kramer and Junior Marcellus combined to tackle him.
They'd love to get some time going here, take it off the clock, and of course you get Hall rolling.
Last week BYU had one of the finest drives you'll ever see. Time-consuming drive at the end of the game against Fresno State, which led to the win. Here BYU leads 31-21 with 7:40 to play, and both teams with all of their timeouts left, each with 3 timeouts. So we have Colorado State ahead of Air Force 32-28 in the 4th quarter in another WAC game. 2nd down and 5 for BYU. This time it's Hall going the other way. He's forced outside. He's still on his feet. Now he slips as he tries to make his cut. He is so hard to knock off his feet. The clock will keep rolling. It'll be 3rd down. Kenny Johnson and John Burrow hit him.
That's for the highlight film. It didn't amount to much, but look at the effort here. Counter trey. Wyoming really covers it effectively. But look at Hall. Ducks inside. Goes outside. Puts his head down. Keeps running. He's going to be tired for a half a yard, but like I say, we'll see that on a highlight film.
UCLA leading Washington State 17-14 at halftime. Alabama ahead of Tennessee 17-3 at halftime. 3rd and 5 for Brigham Young. 3rd and 6. Hancock with a long count is back to throw, looking for 6 yards. Fakes once, throws, completes it, but it's not enough for the 1st down.
Well, let's see where they spot it. They'll spot it between the 39 and the 40. He had to go the 40. You're right, Jay. He's going to be about a half yard short.
Talich and Teal making the tackle. Now what will BYU do? They'll kick it.
Well, they'll turn it over to that horse. The biggest punter in the land. I like him.
He's punted well. His foot has played a major role in BYU being ahead. Cougars up by 10, 31-21 with 6:09 to play. He will kick from the 25-yard line. Roan is the deep man, back at the 30-yard line. The wind is let up right now. It's not blowing as hard. In fact, it's swirling. The flag is swirling now. They let the time run down as far as it can go. Here's the snap. It's high, but he's got it, and he gets the kick away, and it's a beauty into the wind. Roan will let it bounce. The wind held it up, and it'll come back up to about the 30-yard line. Not too bad a punt, considering everything. BYU ahead by 10 with 5:40 to go in the football game. This is the Blue and White Sports Network. All right, the University of Wyoming with the football. That was a 29-yard punt into the wind. The Cowboys will have the ball, the line of scrimmage, their own 33-yard line. 1st and 10, they send 3 men wide to the left now, as Joe Hughes will try to get something moving for the Cowboys. And time a big factor now. Playing against the clock as much as anything. Completes one out of the left flat, and it'd be good for a 12 or 13-yard gain to Ryan Christopherson. Patrick Mitchell forced him out of bounds. Nice play.
Third time they've used this play, Jay, where they slip Christopherson between the tackle and the tight end. Watch Christopherson. See him slip through the line of scrimmage. Hard to find people that way. And he runs effectively, and he stops the clock, gets out of bounds.
5:32 to play in the football game. The Cowboys now with the football at their own 47. They have been shut down in the second half by the BYU defense. They spring 2 men wide to the right, one's over the left, one setback. Joe Hughes is having a career day at quarterback. He's back to pass, looking. Pressure's on. Swings it out to the right side this time. Not much gain. It was to Christopherson again, but he was well covered by Brigham Young University, by Nathan Hall, who wrapped him up and wouldn't let him go forward.
Hall was locked on man, and he was the winner in this case. Short yardage. Watch Nathan Hall.
Keeps the clock going, too.
Exactly. Refuses to let him get to the sideline. Hall's played well all year long. Good player.
Junior out of Texas. One of the married players for the BYU team. Second down after a 2-yard gain. 2nd and 8 for Wyoming. Just short of the 50-yard line. Driver goes in motion. Hughes goes back to pass. And does pass and completes it to Yarborough. But they're right on Yarborough at the BYU 45-yard line. Not too much gain. Vic Charlton was right with him. Yarborough had a super first half. We haven't heard from him as much in the second half.
Well, I think that BYU has had the answer. They've changed some coverage back there. Charlton, number 10, does a good job. A little short of the first down. Time, a big factor now. Hughes looked right. Comes back to the left side. Well covered by BYU. And
it's a good tackle by Charlton.
Exactly.
3rd and 3 for the Cowboys on the Cougar 45-yard line. Brigham Young ahead by 10. Here's Hughes. Fakes a handoff. He's still got the ball, looking to pass. May run it himself. He does, and he's got the first down. Hughes scrambling, gets inside the 40 before Shad Hansen gets him. 4 minutes left in the football game.
Did a great job with the plate fake. Ran by Kevin Nickel. Watch 55 Nickel, who comes in. I beg your pardon, that's not Nickel.
Randy Brock.
That's Randy Brock. Apologies to Nickel. 1st and 10 with 3:57 left in the ballgame.
And the clock running. The Cowboys do have 3 timeouts left. They're on the BYU 39-yard line now. And Brigham Young leads 31-21. Wyoming has not scored in the second half. Day goes in motion to the right. Hughes back to pass. Hit from behind and sacked. He got back to the line of scrimmage. I don't think he saw the Cougar came up in back of him, and that's Kevin Nickel.
I'll tell you who was absolutely great was Gray. They try to get Gray out of the middle of the field. When they run trips, they go motion the other way. Gray refused to bite. Edmond didn't have any place to go, and that causes a sack by Nichols. Had a big ball game.
2nd and 10 for Wyoming. Clock running with 3:13 to play. They're on the BYU 39-yard line. Hughes straight back to throw. Throws quickly for the sidelines. Completes it to Yarborough, who takes it out of bounds down at the BYU 29-yard line. And I think he has the first down. It'll depend on the mark. Vic Charlton forced him out of bounds. Stopped the clock, though, with 3:03.
That's an intelligent receiver, too. He would have only picked up a few more yards. Why take a chance? Get out of bounds. He does. Stops the clock.
And he did get the first down. But 3:03, so the Cowboys not only playing against BYU, they're playing against the clock right now. They trail by 10. They need 2 scores to take the lead.
And depending on how quick you get in, if you get in, makes a difference whether or not you onside or kick it deep and use your timeouts. They'd like to score quickly.
Here's Hughes to pass. Does pass. He's got a man wide open this time. And this is, it is Yarborough, who tried to get it out of bounds, but the officials threw the ball dead. Patrick Mitchell had him.
Mitchell's had a terrific second half, Jay. After being burned in the first half by a couple of fade patterns, he has shadowed Yarborough effectively. Look at this tackle. Good form tackle. Keep your head up. Stick your face right in the numbers. That's the way you teach it.
So he tried to carry it out of bounds, but the official blew the whistle. 3 men wide to the right. 2nd down and 4 for the Cowboys in the BYU 22. Hughes back to throw again. Can't find anybody. He's going to have to run it, and is hit and dropped. He might have the first down.
Gray did a great job in man coverage. Locked on man with Yarborough.
It is a first down.
Boy, Hughes is slow to get up. This would really hurt. You got to bring in the quarterback. It's a little chilly, and he hadn't played.
Tackle is by Lenny Gomes. Carlton Wing has a report. Carlton?
One thing that the Wyoming Cowboys are very proud of is what they term their red zone. That's inside the 25-yard line. Once they get inside the opponent's 25-yard line, they've scored 21 out of 23 times. So they're not quite out of it yet. It's still a very close game. Let's go back upstairs.
First and 10 on the BYU 18. The clock running with 2:09 to play. And here's Hughes back to throw. The rush is on. He's hit as he throws it. And it's an incomplete pass.
Boy, did he get drilled. Jay, you called it exactly right. Kevin Nickel is the guy who causes that once again. He just lays a little lumber on number 7, Hughes.
Yeah, and he's staggering around a little bit back there right now.
Exactly.
Stops the clock with 2:03. The scoreboard saying we want 6.
Here it is. Watch Nickel, 55. Sticks a headgear in the back.
Second and 10 Cowboys on the BYU 18-yard line. Brigham Young ahead, 31-21. Cowboys do have 3 timeouts left. He's hit again as he throws it, completes it. Can they get out of bounds? Nope. Down at the 13-yard line. Not enough for the first down, so the clock is rolling.
Swenson with the reception, 3-step drop, and now Hughes is coming over to the sideline.
They're going to use one of those timeouts.
Boy, he's hurting a little bit, too. Swenson with the catch, 1:53 left.
Nathan Hall, a nice open field tackle. 1:53 to play in this game. Wyoming on the Brigham Young University 13-yard line, where it'll be 3rd and 5. And the Cowboys now with 2 timeouts, and for BYU, any timeout they can make them spend is to BYU's advantage.
Well, exactly, because then it forces the Cowboys, if they do score a touchdown, to onside. And the chances of an onside, you check all the film and all the people who are onside. It's just not, the odds aren't that good. You want to kick it deep and use your timeouts, play a 9-man front. But that, first things first, you got to score if you're Wyoming. You take a look at the win. And
the winner of this game will improve its season record to 4-3, and the loser will go 3-4. And both teams are at 500 in WAC play, but the Cougars are 2-2, and the Cowboys are 1-1.
You know, talk to Joe Carney at halftime. His concern is that all the WAC teams are going to kill each other off as far as a bowl game and everything, and he could be onto something.
There was a time when they thought they might get 4 teams.
Yeah.
What he's talking about, yeah. That could happen. 3rd down and 5 for Wyoming on the BYU 13 with 1:53 to play in the football game, and Brigham Young up by 10. Christopherson goes in motion to the right. Here's Hughes back to pass. He does pass. And it's caught down inside the 5-yard line. Todd Herget makes the tackle. So the Cowboys are on the Cougar 4-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal on the 4.
I thought that was a great decision by this guy, Hughes. The coverage was not really there for BYU. Hughes picks it up, and Christopherson has had a nice ball game with the catch. 1:43 and running.
1st and goal. And the BYU defense would like to burn some time off the clock right here. They can use a lot of time if they do get into the end zone. They quickly throw. Is it a touchdown? It is. Touchdown completed to Matt Swenson, the tight end, his 2nd TD of the year. So the Cowboys close the gap. It's 31-27 Brigham Young, and we have 1:32 to play in the football game, and Wyoming has 2 timeouts.
What a great move. Watch him look to the left. Then he gives it the quick release. This is the play before to Christopherson. The touchdown to Swenson. He'll look left, come back and throw it to the right very quickly. Watch him look left, now come back. I'll tell you what, this guy has very good feet. He reacts quickly, gives his ball club a chance now. Big, big extra point. Got to make sure, first things first, give yourself a chance to kick a field goal and tie. You got to get this extra point, though, if that's to happen.
Mindlin will kick for the extra point. With the Cougars ahead by 4. It's down. It is good. So Mindlin is 22 out of 22 on the season, kicking extra points. And the Cowboys get their first score of the second half on a pretty good drive. It's 31-28.
One more time. Looks right, looks left. Now comes back to Swenson with the touchdown. Biggest play of the day for special teams, both sides. BYU will have people with good hands lined up front. They're looking for the onside kick. Wyoming has a choice. Do you kick it deep? You have 2 timeouts. You got to sock them in if you're going to get a chance. You do have a chance, very definitely, to kick a long field goal because of the wind aided. So this thing is not over.
They lost a game. Was it San Jose State they lost to on a 60-yard field goal?
Exactly. And
With
anything's
just seconds to
possible
go.
in this stadium with the wind. Now look at all the little numbers up front. 32, 18. Drage is in there. 11. You're going to have 1 guy back. Christensen, you got to make sure that you cover a pooch, anything that's dropped up in the air. I worked for a guy, Jerry Claiborne, who was the head coach at Maryland and Kentucky. He would kick it down the middle in this situation. He'd just bump it down the middle instead of to the side, and I thought he was very effective with that when he was a defensive coordinator at University of Colorado.
Well, Brigham Young up by 3 points with 1:32 to play, and the Cowboys trying desperately to get the ball back here for another shot at the end zone, or as Herb pointed out, even an attempt for a long field goal.
Boy, this gets really sticky here. This is sweaty palms time, both sides.
Big play of the ball game. Here we go. Here's the kick. Kicks it very high.
Fair catch it.
Fair catch. He didn't call fair catch, but he comes up with the football. That's Christensen for BYU, and he doesn't want to go out of bounds. So they did not try the kick up front, but they tried to kick it deep and high, and Christensen made a good catch.
Well, you're looking for a mistake because you got 10 people up there within a 10-yard radius. So you figure if you can drop it in there, you got yourself a chance. If the kick actually gets caught up in the wind.
Yarborough's got 13 in this game for 201 yards, and Hughes has passed for 399 yards, completed 34 passes.
Number 1, if you follow BYU, they got to hold on to the football. Number 2, if they get a first down, the ball game is over.
So they have a first down with 3 men wide to the left. 1st and 10 from the 22. And they'll run on first down. That's Kalen Hall. And Kalen Hall works his way forward for 3 yards. And the clock is still, nope, now it's stopped. So the Cowboys use a timeout.
So they have 1 more. There's 1:22 left. Unless BYU picks up a first down, this football game is not over. Wyoming will get the ball. Remember, you got to kick into the wind. Anything can happen there. The wind is really fierce. A 60-yarder is not impossible today, Jay. It's just simple as that.
Tyrone Williams made the tackle. 1 timeout left for the Cowboys. The Cougars gain 2. So BYU has 2nd and 8 at their own 24-yard line. Brigham Young leading 31-28.
So you put yourself in the coordinator's shoes, Norm Chow and Roger French. My guess is you run something wide, but you tell them, make sure you don't go out of bounds. The draw isn't going to go. The ball can be poked loose. You got to make sure that you don't fumble the ball. Remember the Hawaii game?
That's right.
BYU had one, it would appear, wrapped up, and they had a fumble. As you look at Roger French, he works with Norm Chow, who's upstairs. This thing is long from being over, and both sides know it.
Here's the 2nd and 8 play for BYU. 2 setbacks. They're split. It's a sweep with Jamal Willis. Jamal will not get first down yardage. They gang up on him at about the line of scrimmage. The clock shows 1:14, and they stop it again. Tom Kramer led the defensive hit. Junior Marcellus there also.
So they'll run the football 1 more time, and then they're going to have to punt it away unless they pick up 8 yards.
Well, the Cowboys have just used their last timeout. It is 31-28. Brigham Young leading, and the Cougars have 3rd down and 7.
As you look at Lavelle Edwards, behind him, the guy is warming up, kicking a football into a net. That might be the biggest punt of his life.
And, you know, the wind, as you watch the flag, which is off to our right, it's swirling. Now, right now, if he were to kick it, he'd be kicking into a strong wind. But, you know, it's like it spins around out there at times, too.
Everybody likes to play Monday morning quarterback. Everybody at home. Now, what would you call now? 3rd and 8. You pick up a first down, you win the football game. You got to make sure you don't fumble the ball. What do you run here? My guess is you sweep to the right side with Willis. Let's see if I'm on the same page.
Hancock is 24 of 40 for 408 yards, and Drage has got 9 today for 135. And Hancock comes up, looks over the defense, and calls a timeout.
See, that's smart. I really believe that they were going to go right, and Wyoming had it overloaded on that side. They were thinking right along with it. Hey, everybody gets the same film. Everybody breaks down things.
A lot of things have happened to this game. You know, if you're a Wyoming Cowboy fan, you can think of at least twice that they had interceptions they dropped that could have been scores.
Well, one for sure.
One for sure.
There wasn't anybody there.
They also had a man deep. Now, then you can go back, too, and think, now, Wyoming tried a pass off a punt at midfield.
Yeah,
And
I think
there's no doubt BYU was looking for it.
I think if Joe Tiller had that one to do over, he would have passed on that one. It was a 4-man rush.
And then the Cougars went down and scored.
Yeah, BYU really was playing it very soft. And they were effective.
Now, the Cowboys on short yardage threw a pass and scored. BYU's been known to throw in a situation just like this, to the tight end offhand.
See what comes up.
Here we go.
They might throw it.
Third down. Hancock gives to Willis. Sweep to the right side. Can he get around that corner? Not enough for the first down. He's out to the 28-yard line, but the clock is running.
So you unpile real slow now. 1 minute on the money. Hunter coming into the football game. You look for the snap. You make sure you cover. You got a dangerous return man in a row, and he's been close to breaking one.
Brad Hunter has done well. Paul Wallace led the defensive hit on that last one. The Cougars let it run down till just a second or two on that 25-second clock. 40 seconds left to play in the football game now. BYU by 3. Hunter's kicking from his own 10.
Clock is down to 5 seconds.
Cowboys load up the line. Snap is right to him. He got it away. Line drive kick bounces. Rona let it go. There's also a flag down, and I think they hit Hunter.
That is the football game.
That's the game then.
As Wyoming coming in, do or die, they hit Hunter. He comes off the field. All Wyoming has to do is touch it down.
Well, Herb, we could give Hunter credit. With his foot right there, he won the football game for, well, a lot of things. But at least it ended the thing.
Well, first of all,
he got the kick away.
He handles the ball. He's obviously an athlete, and here's the contact. The reason you have a rule like this is just what you see. You can tear a knee up, and hopefully he's all right, but BYU is going to go home 3-point winner. Hard-fought ball game. They came out in the second half. They're down 21-7. And quite frankly, were very flat in the first half. They came out and had a big effort in the third period offensively, and their defense sucked it up. There's a pretty happy guy.
Brad Hunter. He plays well enough for them defensively. He's a tough cookie up front. But his foot and his leg have played a vital role in this one today.
You know, you talk to the Wyoming people. It's been a little frustrating this year, Jay, because they have played well at times. We saw them at their best in the first half. They made mistakes in the second half. They had an interception that hurt them, did some things. There's the touchdown.
And that's it. They won't even have to snap it again. As Brigham Young University down 21-7 and thoroughly outplayed in the first half of this game, came back and scored, 24 unanswered points in the second half, and they win it by a score of 31-28 over the University of Wyoming.